On this episode, we discuss The Mandalorian and Grogu.
Because Hollywood said, what if the movie Dutch was Star Wars?
Yeah. Hey, everyone, and welcome to the Flophouse. I'm Dan McCoy.
I'm Stuart Wellington.
My name is Elliot Kalin, and before we get into the laughs and the giggles and the ribald jackanapes, I wanted to mention that we have a special guest with us today. Returning to the podcast, we have one of our favorite guests, even though we haven't had him on in a while.
After like a decade's absence.
This is actor, improviser, author of the book How to Be the Greatest Improviser on Earth, which is a great book. I genuinely recommend it. Co-host of the podcast Screw It, We're Just Going to Talk About Comics, one of my two favorite comics podcasts, and the podcast Screw It, We're Just Going to Talk About the Beatles, my favorite Beatles podcast. We have joining us Mr. Will Hines. Will, thank you so much for being with us today.
Every 15 years, I'm going to be on this show.
It's just like there was a
Like
period
clockwork.
there was a period in Spider-Man comics where every 15 issues Venom would show up. You're our Venom, except it's years.
Will is the Haley's Comet of the podcast.
Will, what was the movie on the episode that you were on before?
Swing vote.
Swing vote, yeah.
That
think
was an
you were
episode I was
gone.
not on. Okay.
You were
Yeah.
not on
This-
it, yeah.
I was just going to chalk everything up to a lifetime of drinking too much for my
It
memory
gave,
being bad, but
That's why we haven't had Stuart his attendance record has been too
Yeah.
good since then. We haven't had a need to
yeah.
break. We have
Right.
a case that says break in case of Stuart absence, and Will is in that case. Yeah.
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 Truly,
And the
it's
funny
some
thing is,
bread
great to be
I'm
out.
recording today with strep throat. So what could stop me?
Nature
Nothing.
wanted you to not be here.
Yeah.
The universe was fighting for the balance to be restored, and you did not
But
be
Stuart
here. And
found
me.
a way. Yeah.
No, Stuart heard that Will was going to be on replacement. He goes, "No, I'll be there."
I want to talk about comics for a change.
Stuart, it's funny you weren't there, too, because that was like an early Paul Schrader riff.
That's right.
While you were
Yeah.
absent.
Writer, director of Heart Peeps. Yeah, I know.
It's the episode that gave us Chopin Gotables. I remember
Yeah,
that
that was a
song.
great
That's right.
episode. We should have Will on more often. That was a great
Yeah.
episode.
You guys are really funny when I'm on.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know, I'm like a bass player, I guess. Like, wow, our guitar solos were good when you were here. Come back again.
This is gonna sound like an insult when I mean it to be a compliment.
I love
Many
it.
have talked about how the Marx Brothers were better when Zeppo was with them,
Oh,
even though
this
he
is
seemingly does nothing. You know.
Yes. I'm proud to be the Zeppo of the Flophouse. I would love it. I truly would put it on my business card, which I just got business cards for the first time.
Oh, wow.
And just confuse everybody. Hi, Will Hines. I'm
'Cause
Zeppo
you're
of the
planning on
Flophouse podcast.
traveling back in time or something. Why do you get
Yeah, I
business
got to go
cards?
door to door selling vacuum
They're
cleaners.
so. It's like, what do you do with these things? I remember, like, we got, Daily Show business cards. I remember being like excited. I got a Daily Show business card, and like there was like this huge box of them, and I was finding them for years afterwards because I didn't do anything with them.
When I struck
Yeah,
out
yeah.
on my own, I ordered business cards, and I still have almost all of them. Yeah.
Yeah. I got them because I operate an improv theater in Los Angeles. Not to big dog you guys,
Yeah,
but it's like a physical space. And our box office staff once accidentally threw the trash out in the wrong dumpster out back. We threw it out in the back of this beauty supply store. And they were so mad at us that the landlord of because we're in like a shopping center, called me and was like, hey, they're really upset about whatever. You guys put too much garbage in their dumpster and they're mad at you. And so I ordered business cards just to go over to the beauty supply store and hand them one and say, I'm so sorry that happened. Call me if there's ever any trouble. And so I ordered 1,000 business cards to use one.
Classy.
Because you can't buy business cards in units of less than like 1 million. You're not allowed to get like just like 10 cards.
But someday, when you break into the corporate improv market in Japan, you're going to be glad you had those business
Oh,
cards.
yeah. That's
Very
right.
elaborate trade-offs of those
I'll
cards.
bow
yeah.
just the right amount, just so it's polite, and hand over a business card.
They call that yes-anding, is you bow as well, but you bow a little bit more than the other
That's
person.
right.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, though, this is not a business card podcast. This is a
Why
podcast.
not? It could be.
where we watch a movie that was either a flop critically or commercially. This is an unusual case. I would say
I'm
that.
gonna add a corollary to that. Sometimes we just want to talk about a specific
Well,
movie.
let me finish my sentence.
Okay,
this
sure.
is the
Let's
I
see where
believe-
Dan's going. Maybe he takes us in different
this had
directions.
the lowest opening of a Star Wars picture. So or a live action one. I don't know what cartoon ones got.
There have
but,
been I think there have been no cartoon theatrically released Star Wars films.
Oh, there's
right?
Clone Wars. That was in the
There's a
theaters.
TV show, right?
Yeah, but there was a movie.
There was an
They did
animated
a
Clone Wars movie.
They did it. They absolutely did a Clone Wars release in the theaters.
Google, tell
this
me
is
if he's
a
right.
Fascinating argument, but my point is, in Star Wars terms,
Oh,
this
you're
has
right.
been a
Star
bit of
Wars:
a-
The Clone Wars,
I
2008.
knew I was right. I knew I was right from the beginning. This is the patented Flophouse, barely veiled hostility plus can't get the show started that you all tune in for. What was I saying?
You're saying this was
not
the
a
lowest
success
opening of a live-action Star Wars
on
film.
on a Star Wars metric, and has had some mixed reviews. And we just wanted to talk about it as Elliot.
Now,
Elliot
Star Wars movies
said.
rarely get all stellar reviews, right? I feel like
That's right, that's
generally
right.
they're pretty mixed.
Uh,
With the exception
new
of-
ones, sure.
I mean, even the first ones got mixed reviews, but that was more a
Yeah.
case of like people didn't really know what they were dealing with to a certain extent. But it's true that often entertainment popcorn movies, even when they're great, don't always get great reviews. They're because reviewers often they just don't know. It feels like it's relatively recently in the life of film reviewing that they have understood that there's a metric for movies that are not trying to be high art, but instead are just
Yeah.
trying to entertain and recognizing that as a worthwhile achievement. That being said, this one I think got particularly kind of. There were a lot of reviews I saw where it was like the reviewers almost felt like it's going to be too obvious if I say I didn't like this movie. So I have to find a way to say that I didn't like it that doesn't feel like I'm just dumping on it because it is a movie based on a television show based on another movie.
I also think that, like, to some degree, I mean, this is much lesser than what you said, Elliot, but like to some degree, I feel like the art form of movies is now old enough that people have seen enough movies that were like, oh, this was just made for entertainment, become classics over time, that they realize, like, oh, yes, of course, like these things that we think of as established classics, like many of them were light entertainment. Like we can
Yes.
appreciate craft in a way that maybe they were averse to when it was like, okay, well, this is a new art form. We have to hold it to, like, I don't know. I'm just making stuff up now, but I think that there's something in that.
I'm sure you
think
guys
so.
have said this and said it better, so please correct me. But I feel like the Star Wars movie franchise has got to be the fewest number of actually good movies proportional to its real estate in the culture.
You know what?
Like,
We haven't said
Real
that, but I
estate
think
and
you're
culture,
right.
I think, is an important point.
Yes, yeah.
just like how much it occupies. Everybody knows Star Wars, how ubiquitous it is, how beloved it is, how powerful it is, how truly iconic in a way that few movie franchises could ever hope to be. And yet, almost all of the movies are mid or bad.
I think it's because you have you're right, because it's one of the few movies that has it influenced that where people are like, yeah, I'll put Jedi down as my religion. It's rare that a movie
Yes,
starts a
yes.
religion.
Right.
But you're right. I think it's because what Star Wars really is you have the original trilogy of movies, which are pretty great. For all that, Return of the Jedi is like a little bit of a drop. They're still really great. And then you have people trying to recapture that spirit for decades now.
Yeah.
And I think it feels like we're finally, fortunately or unfortunately, running out of the fumes from those original movies. That
Right,
could
so you have
float
to
that
create
excitement.
new things that are good on their own, like Andor or Mandalorian season 1 of the TV show was delightful.
It's all right. And
But in mainline film, I mean, those are both TV and mainline films. It's a contentious movie, and I think that the people who don't like it are wrong. But I don't care.
They're wrong.
But Last Jedi was the one that tried to do something new, and it scared them so much that they're like, I don't know, let's not.
I'll admit, when I saw Last Jedi in theaters, I really liked it. Watching it again recently, I don't like it quite as much, partly because they're taking the focus away from white people. Do not like that. But maybe that's no, just kidding. That's not why.
Kidding.
I'm just kidding. That's
new
a joke
listeners
based
who might
on
be drawn in
based
by
on idiots
Star
who don't like
Wars.
the movie for that reason. But it's watching it again, especially watching it with my son. He found it very boring and confusing. And watching again, I was like, yeah, this movie, the plot is like a little too complicated, and it's considering it's an action movie with cool set pieces, it works much slower. And so it's one of those things where I'm like, if there's a Star Wars movies, and setting Andor aside, which is a different kind of, they're aiming for something different. It's a TV show. If you release a Star Wars movie that a kid finds boring and hard to understand,
Yeah, you
then
missed.
I feel like you're missing the mark somewhat.
Yeah.
As a childless man, I don't care. I don't
No,
think
but as
that
a
my
guy
metric
who,
is
as a
your
guy,
child.
but as a guy who understands the place of Star Wars, a space fantasy series,
I
will
mean,
love
the
it.
thing
by
is, like,
children.
I feel like
that's an
there's
interesting.
a whole span of types of Star Wars things at this point.
I
you
don't,
know,
but
and,
I would say that it's not successful as a
Yeah.
whole span of Star Wars things. Star Wars at its best does the thing where it is taking childish entertainment and uplifting it onto a higher level of production, like storytelling. It's a, for lack of a better word, everyone talks about, or if there was that period recently where people talking about like sophisticated horror or like what do they call it? Elevated horror. Like Star Wars the original Star Wars is essentially elevated B serial. You know,
Yeah.
like they're taking B serials or not necessarily even science fiction, but space opera, kind of the goofiest, least serious type of science fiction, and doing it in an elevated way. And so you gotta. I feel like, but if you try to elevate it too far, then it's like, well, this isn't really. You're not doing the thing you need to do. You know,
Everything. I agree with everything everybody's saying, and yet I also want to talk. And but
that was the subtext of everyone on a podcast ever. You've encapsulated it so well.
But Elliot, as you know, my comics podcast recently, last year, we did a thing on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. We did like a little look at the Turtles, which you were a guest on.
I was grateful to appear on one of those episodes. We talked about TMNT number 3, I think.
Yeah, I accidentally gave you the least consequential of all the early issues.
One that's just a quick car chase.
Just a car chase. Yeah, it was.
Issue.
We didn't plan it. Look, here's the thing. I was too old to have really been caught up in Turtle Mania Wave 1, and so I never really read any of that stuff. So out of a curiosity, my brother and I said, "Hey, let's read all the original Eastman and Laird Turtles books," and they were really delightful and great. And then sort of watched some episodes of the original Saturday morning cartoon and the original movie, and just kind of like, what were the rocket ship proponents of Turtle Mania 1.0? And I was like, oh yeah, this stuff's all great, I can totally see. But it was like, it opened my eyes to how a lot of these beloved franchises, which sometimes have well-crafted entries and sometimes have just kind of stuff that misses or is bad, they're like toy movies. They are toy designs first and foremost. And Star Wars was the first movie where the effects were good enough that it's like, look, say what you want about the plot or Mark Hamill's acting or the pace. These are the best toys that have ever been made on Earth to this point.
I will say, I think Mark Hamill's really good. I like him a lot.
I like Mark Hamill too, but he was a lightning rod, right? For people who wanted to jump on Star Wars.
It was easy for people to make fun of him because that character is such a
exactly. I think Hamill's a good actor.
He's a dweeb.
I think he's really good. He's playing a dweeb, and he's doing a really good job of it.
He also had the misfortune of being cast next to Harrison Ford, which is like
which is rough. Yeah,
the most charismatic.
Even like Ryan Gosling next to Harrison Ford,
Carrie
like,
Fisher.
who's that nerd Gosling?
But I think
right.
But I think there's this great, cool like toy design quality and stuff, and that those first movies I've talked about before on the podcast. That first movie I find to be such a miracle of storytelling, where when it starts, you don't know anything about that world of those characters, and by the time they're going after the Death Star, you're so invested in it. And when Han shows up, a character you met an hour and 10 minutes earlier, when he returns to help Luke, you're like, he's back, It is. It's just amazing the way they pulled it off. And I haven't seen that pulled off again in a movie the same way until The Mandalorian and Grogu, which we can all agree hit the bullseye.
I was going to say we've talked
Tuck in our bibs and dig into this meal.
We've talked a lot about Star Wars on the macro level. Let's talk about it on the micro level.
Now, hang on,
We don't have to talk really fast if we bump it on
people.
I'm going to stop you again, because I've only been on this podcast once every 15 years. I got to ask, is this how it works? Everyone's dragging it off the rails, and Dan, you just like selflessly grab it with ropes and drag it back on the tracks.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
I gotta
to a
say, I mean,
certain extent, yeah.
Elliot passed me the ball there, so it wasn't just, it's a
Okay,
team
gotcha.
effort sometimes
Okay,
to drag
okay.
it back on, but usually
Fascinating.
Elliot's the one throwing the ball
Wait,
out
things
of
have changed since the swing vote
window.
days. Things have changed.
And,
I am the guy. If we're playing a baseball game, I'm the guy who, instead of catching a foul ball and throwing it into the stands, I'm catching a fair ball and throwing it into the stands.
but
Micro level, you were saying.
Yeah.
it was he's a little guy, Baby Yoda.
Grogu is a little guy. Yeah.
I love that little baby guy.
The Mandalorian and Grogu, a title built to.
They're like, look, we're just telling you what it is. Look, we know
It
this
is.
show is called The Mandalorian. We know you're in it for Grogu. Don't worry, he's in the title.
What's
He
a
got bumped
title
up.
with zero poetry in any way?
Stamp it on the box. Tell them what's
Yeah.
in the box.
Yeah.
Someone wakes up from a coma. The Mandalorian and Grogu. Did
The
everyone
and
speak
Grogu-
a new language while it was
Yeah. No,
I feel
thank you.
like-
I don't like foreign films.
And also, the way the title looks on the poster, I think, is very funny because it looks like it says The Star Wars Mandalorian and Grogu, which is like, just the way they placed it is very funny to me.
Oh, that's really funny. Grogu seems like an afterthought. It seems like it was called The Mandalorian for months and months, and some studio exec's like, "Where's that little green guy?" And they're like, "Jesus, just put it in the title. We can't have this guy."
Well, the problem was
constantly-
Terry
at
wants
first they misunderstood. He goes, "Where's that little guy? Yogurts." They called it the Mandalorian yogurt, and Mel Brooks was like, "I'm in this movie. Hold on a second." Finally, the
I
Spaceballs
guess I
Star
got to
Wars
start
crossover.
training again.
What if Mel Brooks entered this movie like with all the gravity of like, the way like in sometimes like late period superhero movies, like an old like, I can't like in Deadpool and Wolverine, like when
Yeah.
Chris Evans
Really.
enters as Human Torch or whatever, but this is Mel Brooks as Yogurt shows up in the real Star Wars. I would have reversed all my feelings about this
Yeah.
movie.
Oh,
and
it would
been
be the
like,
greatest movie ever. It would be so good. Yeah.
Okay, so we start off the Mandalorian.
We start off
we all
episode
know
1
him.
of season 1 of The Mandalorian.
We all know what a Mandalorian is. There's no reason to explain. No, the Mandalorian, of course. Look, I actually didn't even make it. I know that everyone loves the first season. I didn't even make
I
it
thought it
full
was
the first season of the Mandalorian. I'm like, okay.
I'm actually just genuinely surprised by that. I found the first season, light but really watchable. Like
I think it's super watchable and really fun, but he's such a thin character.
I loved
he doesn't
Amy
really
Sedaris.
exist as a character.
I found
Amy-
it-
She was
a lot of
great.
good guest stars. Yeah.
What I saw, I found perfectly watchable. It was just like, I think I was already feeling like, I don't know if I need this much Star Wars anymore.
Okay, sure.
By that
And
time.
Werner Herzog, come on. He loves that baby.
Look,
I mean, the fact that I love that the Werner Herzog was in the Mandalorian show. 'Cause they're like, we need another great director to suddenly appear as a surprise in the movie. We'll just get Scorsese, like we did,
Yeah.
like in the Mandalorian and Grogu too. Who's going to be the director that's in it? Like, are they finally gonna get
Yeah.
It's
like
very
David
funny to
Lynch's
get-
Ghost back in or something like
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
Yeah, Kong
Scorsese-
Lee or something shows up.
I mean,
Amazing.
Scorsese might be the best
Kong Lee
acting
just suddenly
performance in this
shows
movie. Yeah.
So the Mandalorians, are they like all bounty hunters? Is it
They're pretty much so. As we
is
know
this
from the Star Wars
thing where
universe,
like a one race
Yes.
is like just like a certain
Kinda,
thing?
well,
yeah.
so
Well,
one,
that's-
yes, in Star Wars, everyone in the one race does the same job, but two,
It's like the Muppets.
But but the Mandalorians are also like, it's like a religion or like a culture, right? So you can be
Yeah.
They're like
inducted
Jedis.
into it. Yeah, they're like
Okay.
Jedis, except their rules are we're bounty hunters. We never take off our masks, which is dumb because how do you eat, drink, any of that stuff? You never kiss.
And
how
they,
do we make
they come
you
off pretty
Mandalorians?
easy. When
They
they
do,
take
and
the
they
helmet
slide
off,
right
it just
off.
pops right
And
off, right?
You know what I would do? If you never want anyone to see your face, you know what you put underneath your mask? A fucking ski mask. Just cover up your
Yeah,
face.
yeah, balaclava, sure.
Yeah, balaclava. They don't have that technology. Oh, I guess you got
Nope.
light speed technology. You don't have the ability to make fabric that doesn't cover your eyes and
It's
your
also
mouth.
weird that
covers
he
the
like
rest of you.
shaves down to a mustache. I would think
Well,
his
that's I
beard
have,
would
to
be all
assume, I have
crazy.
to assume the
style,
helmet
right?
does that. I have to assume the helmet
Yeah.
does that.
That's why you wear it.
Yeah. But the,
All Mandalorians must have a secret mustache.
So by pointing this out, we're highlighting, I think, one of the things that we had circled around before, which is the idea that the more we examine the Star Wars universe and the more we attempt to elevate it, I think the more it shows that there's just a general shallowness to the Star Wars
Yes,
universe.
I think that's
I
true.
feel like I'm not like, hey, I have loved Star Wars in my life, but I feel like
yeah.
there is the more you start kicking over stones, the more you realize you're like, oh, there's nothing
Yeah,
down
and-
here.
well,
It's
the-
empty.
the-
A large
they
part
talk-
of that's by design. Like it's supposed to be simple. You know?
Yeah, but the thing is, when it's simple and then you explore it and you find, it's like walking. My younger son loves to play Minecraft, partly because he likes to explore the worlds, and it's like there's not really that much there. Like he's not discovering new things. It's just the same old trees and animals over and over again. But I think that with Star Wars, people talk about like, oh, the Star Wars world is such a cool world. There's so many corners to look into, but there really aren't. Like there's not that much going on.
Yeah,
in
well,
it.
They're always just
and
hanging
there
out
could
on
be
Tatooine.
There could be,
but they just keep going back to the same wells.
Because the closest thing you can compare it to is probably like the Marvel Universe, right? Where there are a lot of corners to the Marvel Universe. That's because there's 80 years, 90 years of publishing behind it, of people trying out different stuff, and most of it not
with multiple
working.
creators.
With many hundreds, if not thousands, of creators working on it. And so you have it's just tough. It's really tough. And it's just not, it's not the most complex world, but you also don't have the most complex character in The Mandalorian, who is, so I didn't remember this from the show. Is he dumb in the show?
No.
Because in the movie, he's very dumb. He believes whatever anybody tells him at face value all the time. There's the bad guy he's looking for at first. Nobody can find this Imperial commander. It turns out he didn't even change his name. He's just operating under the same name on another planet.
right.
Well, that's everyone's fault. That's not just
that's
him.
everyone's fault. But the Mandalorian in particular, two very obviously evil characters lie to him. And then when he goes to somebody else and goes, oh, they lied to you. He's like, I don't think so. That's not what they told me.
What? Explain.
He's very dumb. He's a very dumb guy. But we'll talk about that.
Well, let's get back to him because we haven't even learned what he's done yet.
Okay.
He's on a mission. He, like at this point, he's working for the New Republic. He's hunting down,
which are the good guys in this, not a right wing like commentary magazine or something like that.
He's basically a Nazi hunter. He's finding Empire refugees.
He's like Marathon Man, but with monsters and lasers. Yeah.
At this point, the
good.
Empire has turned into like weird little like crime bosses
Fiefdoms.
and like
there's little warlord fiefdoms left over, and that's a cool idea, and that's a realistic idea. That when you kill the Emperor, it's not like the Empire everyone just suddenly goes, "Whoops, I guess we're not doing this anymore."
They
all have their little power bases they're trying to maintain, and he's going after them. And it turns out he has one move, which is walk into a room and start shooting people in the head, and that
true.
He is not a master of stealth, strategy, planning. It works great most of the time, except that it gets him to every. So I'll just give you that slightly, but like he comes back from a mission and goes, things went sideways, and it's like, well, they didn't go sideways. You did a bad job. Like you did the worst. You did this in the worst possible way.
Yeah. Well, this warlord is abusing his like sort of like under like the local town leaders. And which leads to a joke that I would have found funny if it wasn't so telegraphed, which is like when Mando comes in and like shoots everyone, and like they're all supposed to cover his exit, but they all just point to where he went. And I'm like, it could have been funny, but I don't know whether it was the direction or whatever. I just saw it coming so far away that. Anyway, there's an AT-AT chase or AT-AT, depending on how if you're nasty.
If you want to say it wrong, if you're nasty.
There's some AT-ATs walking on the most precarious little ledge.
Like goats, like mountain goats.
Yeah, that's because I guess AT-ATs are like goats in how well they're able to maneuver around rocky ledges. Yeah,
and
but we
Grogu
see a little.
shows up. You forgot Grogu blew up the little
Well,
robot.
he's got his adopted child.
You know that the Mandalorian is the hero of the movie because he shoots a lot of people dead. He
Right.
does not stop to help anybody if they are in trouble, and he brings a baby with him into situations where he gets shot at and shoots people dead.
Yeah, but
he's
that
the
baby
hero
can
of the movie.
handle itself. That baby's a powerful baby.
And the Mandalorian is he's
got all those Yoda powers because again, every race is the same.
exactly the same. So it's so funny because I was reading someone was making the point about like Yoda looks the way he does in the Star Wars movies because he is elderly, because he is 800 years old, and the idea is that the Force has been keeping him alive all this time. But then they're like, we got to have more Yoda aliens. I guess they all look like little old men, and they all dress like Jedi, and they all live hundreds of years. It's every race they're all the same. If you're a Rhodian, you're going to be a bounty hunter.
I would agree with you. but he's very cute guy.
He
is
is
very
very
cute.
cute.
And,
is very cute.
and he is he at least appears to be primarily a practical puppet.
Yes,
He's a little
and I like
puppet
that.
man.
He's a
Which-
very
I
love the way
expensive
he-
puppet.
Like, I love a little guy. Give me
Yeah.
little guys, and you know what? This movie delivers more
it
little
delivers
guys as we
handily
go
with
on.
little
Yeah.
guys.
I don't care if it looks quote unquote fake. I love him. I love the way he
Yeah.
looks when he's running around.
Dan, you would
Yeah.
love it if you could see the puppeteer's arm sticking out of his butt the whole movie. You would be
Yeah.
loving that.
If somebody told me that they didn't like it because it looks fake, I think I'd slap their face. And I don't even care that much. I'm like, that's the good part.
Yeah,
It would
that's
be
the
you
best
have
part.
to, every Star Wars character, you have to evaluate how good of an action figure / toy is this character.
Yes.
And Grogu is an A+,
Oh, yeah.
5-star toy, one of the all-time greats, right up there with Boba Fett and Hoth Han Solo.
Yeah.
The Rancor was pretty good. That
Yeah.
was a great toy.
So I think so. The so Boba Fett and the Mandalorian, they show that if you have a cool looking helmet, and you don't say very much, you can get away with being pretty bad at your job and still be the coolest guy in the universe.
Yeah.
Because the Mandalorian also he benefits, and it seems to be aware of that he's benefiting from what I would call Star Wars protagonist defense shield technology, which is if you are the hero of the movie, nobody's going to hit you when they're shooting at you with lasers. They could be
Right.
an inch away,
But his
firing straight
armor's
at you.
like super. He has like a John Wick suit on, right? Basically, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, exactly.
Bulletproof
It's made of that
blaster-proof
fancy
outfit.
steel. It's super blaster proof.
Yeah, it's different IP, but it's basically adamantium.
Yes.
Let me say that because we saw this in the theater, I was not there with like a little glowy pen making notes. I'm
you don't
heavily
care
relying on.
I can jump in.
I do
Yeah, I
care
remember.
about my fellow audience members.
Oh, so you
I-
weren't at the Alamo, I guess.
I mean,
I'm
ironically,
heavily-
the Alamo is where you should have gone because they have lights underneath those little tables. So
Yeah,
true. I
I've
could've made
taken
little
notes
notes.
at Alamo movies, and it makes it a little easier.
No, I'm just saying I'm heavily relying on the wiki summary.
Yes.
So if anyone wants to jump in, please feel free.
So,
but
after a big snow battle with AT-ATs and ATSTs, he captures this guy, brings him back to
he
Sigourney
doesn't capture
Weaver.
the guy. He blows him up.
Oh, he blows up that guy.
That's
That's
the
right.
problem.
Yeah.
Sigourney's like,
he
we
blows
want
up
him
that guy.
alive because that's how we find other people. And Sigourney Weaver, you get to see her in a rebel suit, so that's a mark in the plus column for this.
Some nerd somewhere was just ejaculating into his pants at seeing Ripley
Some
in a rebel
Yeah,
I think I
outfit.
did. Yeah. I was excited.
Elliot's looking in the mirror right now.
But she wants.
Look, when you nerd into the abyss nerds back into you. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm sure I was projecting, and I did think Sigourney Weaver was cool casting, but every line she said, I felt like she was just a whisper away from bursting into laughter.
I mean,
Especially when she
I-
ends up in the X-wing flying or whatever
Yes.
at the end of the movie. It looked both great and insane.
I mean,
to me.
she is. I mean, I love her. I think she's so great. But it had there was this feeling of her of like, all right, whatever.
no. Totally. I love Sigourney Weaver. I was so happy to see her in this movie. It has big, like, we have you for one day energy. This is-
Right.
She didn't have the dedication that she shows as the villain in the movie Holes with Shia LaBeouf. You know.
The next assignment for Mando is a big one. They got to find Commander Coin, who I guess is like the warlord of all warlords, and like she literally has like a deck of cards of like
Bad guys,
the big bad warlords
cool,
trading
right?
set.
Yeah, I mean, this is a takeoff of a real thing. Like when we invaded Iraq, I think it was they handed out decks of cards with the images and names of like the high up guys in Saddam Hussein's.
Well,
forgot
it
about
was
that.
stupid when our government did it, and it's stupid here.
I mean, they used to, and like,
Especially when the main card she gives him has no information on it.
it has no
actually the
face.
funniest.
They're like, all we know about this guy, Commander Coin, is that his name is Commander Coin. He's the worst of the worst. And what I was like,
He's a Nintendo villain, Commander Coin.
but I was this movie is so this movie, and this is an overriding note for this whole movie. It's so boilerplate and flat and not detailed in the way you want it a Star Wars thing to be. They don't even give him like a story of something particularly bad he did. They don't have. He's not like the Butcher of Bespin or something like that. That like Commander Coin, the Butcher of Bespin. Instead, he's just Commander Coin. We don't have to tell you anything about him. Who cares? There's so many places where they could have added a little bit of color, a little bit of like if you're be a good GM, flesh out this world a little bit. And they don't do it.
She's giving him a playing card, which traditionally in the world of playing cards, there's info and stats and like a fun fact, and she gave him just truly a coaster with a silhouette of a humanoid.
I have to object to you. Traditionally, in playing cards, we have clubs, spades, hearts, and diamonds. But in trading cards,
trading cards, yes, that's what I meant. You're
which is trading those cards is a
strikes,
form of play. So
I just wanted to make a dumb joke.
You're absolutely right. But the funny thing is, all she had was the name, and as we've already said, that turns out to be all you needed to find this guy. That actually was the exact amount of info that you did need to find
if he had shown up on the world and said, "Hey, do you know where coin is?" They'd be like, "Oh, over there? Yeah, sure." He's in hiding. No one knows. He's like a ghost. He disappeared. But I was talking to somebody about this the other day, and they point out that is a Star Wars universe thing, is when you want to hide, you'd use your same name because then people assume, well, if I'm looking for the son of Anakin Skywalker, surely he would have chosen a different name than Luke Skywalker. So that would be crazy for him.
Kenobi. We don't have one of those. We've got a Ben Kenobi, though.
What are the odds of such a common name as Kenobi?
No. That's a different guy. Different
dude. If he wanted to go incognito, he wouldn't use the same last name. So
I mean, maybe it's a psyop. It's like, well, surely he would. Yeah, like that's what he just said.
It's like he's thinking one step ahead.
Yeah,
they'd expect it's like It's like
it is the logic
Princess
that
Bride.
contestants
You
on
want me? Sorry, you're going to say it, Stuart.
It is the logic that contestants on the Traitors use to determine who's a bad guy based on how they're voting.
Yeah,
it's that exact sort of thing. Sorry.
But so he goes to this planet where he's going to find Commander Coin. Right?
Well, no, he has to go to see the Hutt twins whatever. Like there's a couple of Hutt
he's
siblings.
going to see the Hutt twins.
So the New Republic has made a deal. The Hutt twins will give them where to find Commander Coin if Mandalorian first gets their nephew Rada the Hutt, son of Jabba the Hutt.
Yeah,
and it is very clear these Hutt twins are evil. They are literally big slimy grub worms who talk like this. Oh, well, of course we miss our nephew. We just want him to be safe,
So this is
And Mandalorian's like, checks out. You're loving Uncle and Aunt.
This is like the first time we see Nal Hutta, right? Which is, as you know, as a Star Wars fan, is the Hutt homeworld. All the buildings are like these big, like fungus-grown structures with like a little bit of metallic stuff. It looks kind of cool, but it's all lit like dog shit. So any action later on just looks terrible.
It's too bad. It's all dim brown light. But the designs that were cool. The designs have a real Mobius type of quality or like a Miyazaki quality. I think those look cool.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of the designs in this one are drawn from classic sci-fi things, as we'll see when we see the dragon snake or whatever later on, dragon whatever. But
when it comes to the Hutts, definitely for me, it is diminishing returns every time I see a different member of this.
But they found two new ways to make the Hutts less cool. One, as we'll get with Rada the Hutt, is to make one jacked, just have a swole hut. And the other is
hate it.
The other is that they speak English through most of the movie, and they look ridiculous.
Hutties sounds awesome.
And Hutties sounds so cool. It is the most fun Star Wars language to say. No Jabba Wanga. Like that's the best,
Like their mouths are too big and gross to be able to speak galactic common or whatever.
Can you imagine if in the middle of a Star Wars movie, Chewbacca turned to Han and said, "So what are we going to do next, Han?" Like you'd be like, "What the hell is this?"
Rogen
terrible.
Good casting.
Yeah, that would be the casting,
And like, not only are their mouths too big and gross, but also like the Hutts are fucking conceited assholes. Why would they speak this other language? They want to speak their perfect blah 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 language. That sounds awesome.
So it's a couple of big mistakes there, and I think it's just for ease of, so you don't have to have a lot of subtitles up, and then you can cast a famous name as Rada the Hutt because that's what makes the movie.
Parlaying his bear credit to be Rada the Hutt.
Hey, he's in a Star Wars, man. If you get offered a Star Wars, you're going to take that.
Again, I feel like that is currency that has been devalued over the course of the year.
Even now, Elliot, you're going to say that if someone just wants to cash you in a Star Wars movie.
Someone said this to me yesterday. I was complaining about this movie, and they go, so if they offered you a Star Wars movie, you wouldn't take it? And I go, of course I would. One, cha-ching, but also two, of course I would. I'd try to do the best job I could. It probably would come out not great. What are you going to do? Like, of course you're going to take it, but that doesn't mean, like, just because you're going to take a job doesn't mean that you think that everything they're doing is amazing or that they should do it.
Well, no, that's a separate issue.
Yeah.
His work in this
should have
is maybe
insisted
not
on speaking Hutties the whole time, honestly.
Yeah.
What
will you?
Yeah, I was like, with the huts, have we seen this many huts before in any of the other? We were lousy with huts in this movie.
Crazy.
You got the twin huts, the nephew hut.
And there's just that random hut that you see sliding along a burrow and then going in, slipping into
just
a
like
burrow.
NPC hut. That was
Yeah,
kinda
and they're
cool.
like they're walking through the halls and like looking down the hallways and seeing like huts all over each other, like it's fucking irreversible or something.
Yeah. Ugh.
This is from the Clone Wars, right? I didn't watch the series, but I
Well,
believe
so these
that
guys, the Hutt twins show
at
up
least
in
Rada is.
but the Hutt twins show up in either Mandalorian season 3 or Boba Fett or something like that. I didn't see it. I've just heard about it. They've been introduced in the show, in one of the shows.
Right,
But
so
anyway,
I think it's a funny layout for the Hutt palace, which is that there's a tunnel that leads to a huge gate door, which just leads to one big throne room. And I'm like, what is the layout of this building doesn't make sense. And if I'm
It's
watching
just
a Star
so-
Wars movie, I shouldn't be thinking about how the layout of the building doesn't make sense.
IP that gets like too successful. It's so funny when things that were probably initially decided, to be good in one sequence, then have to have like a whole like leg of the lore resting on them. It's like Jabba the Hutt in Return of the Jedi needs to be the big scary bounty hunter that's after Han, and he works great as this giant literal slug lord.
Yeah.
Just kind of
Who
gross.
is limited in how much he can move.
It works great for the sequence. He looks great. He sounds great.
He's a big fat
gross.
crime boss. He's Sidney Greenstreet. Like it works fantastic.
It works great. And now to have to build a whole hut world and like government system and like and modes of entertainment.
How do they get
Well,
around?
certainly if they're-
What are the
if they're all-
streetcars for a slug land? Is it just huge flatbed trucks are going around? Is it just tanks of water like
Certainly,
being dragged?
if it keeps to the Star Wars thing and they're all mobsters, that's a terrible economy.
No, it's all
who's gotta-
crime.
no, someone's got to have a legit job. To
I mean, to
like-
be fair, that is what the United States is turning into, is a mobster economy. So we'll see what it's like to live in a hut world. But also, like the idea, like at a certain point, you have to be like, so they're intergalactic gangsters. Do they have the wheel? I don't know that they do. So how have they accomplished all these things?
Anyway, Mando is looking for Rada. He goes to Shikari, which is kind of a Las Vegas planet, or at least this part of it's
Just this
kind
city.
of Las
I mean,
Vegas.
that's the other thing is in Star Wars, all planets are the exact same all over the entire planet. You're a desert world, you're an ocean world, you're a city world, as opposed to in real life when all those things exist on our one planet.
yeah.
He finds out that he's like, the first thing he does is look for information by talking to Martin Scorsese monkey.
Monkey Scorsese, yeah.
He's got
So
four
great.
arms.
He does what anyone would do. He goes to the first street food vendor he sees and basically bullies him into accepting money for information. And this is Martin Scorsese, it's like a four-armed monkey man who
Pretty great.
is.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a
I'm not
highlight of
mad
the
at
movie.
it.
Honestly, might be the best performance in the film.
I mean, Martin Scorsese is great like he's. It's not like this is his first time acting. The same with Werner Herzog in Mandalorian. Like these guys are professional actors in addition to being directors. They're great.
He
Who's a
seems
better? What's a
genuinely-
better? He's better than Sigourney. I love Sigourney's casting, but I think
Yeah.
Scorsese's a better performance. He's better than Pedro Pascal, and I don't think that's Pedro Pascal's fault.
Yep.
I mean,
Grogu, I cannot count as a performance.
Thank you.
I think it's the number one. If they're gonna go for Oscar bait, it's got to be Martin Scorsese, Best Supporting Actor, Mandalorian, and Grogu.
It's
guess
better
by
than
that
that old
logic,
fisherman lizard guy on Nal
I think he's
Hutta
better
we
than
meet
that.
later.
yeah, better than that.
Not like a lot better. All these other people are very functional and good at what they
Yeah.
need
What about
to
the
do.
guy
but-
who plays the character who's like the Mandalorian's like sometimes co-pilot?
Oh yeah.
Oh.
That character, for looking as sort of wild as he does, makes no impact whatsoever.
No.
Yeah.
He's a character from other stuff, but I
Yeah.
don't know the name, or they don't bother to. I don't know if they say his name in the movie. Maybe they do once, but I don't remember it.
Yeah,
It's
he's
a-
a real
I do
just
want to
like-
point out that when they get to is it Skatari? Right? The
Atari,
Vegas
the planet Atari. Yeah.
Shikari.
but the-
Shikari.
Shikari, sorry, Skatari.
'Cause its hips
that of
don't
course
lie,
are
yeah.
Skatari.
'Cause it
Of
sounds like
course, is the foot soldiers of the Adeptus Mechanicus. But in Shikari,
Of course.
Not to be
where
confused with the Sardaukar from who of course are devoted to the Emperor. In the Dune universe.
Yeah, the God Emperor of Dune.
Yeah. Well,
but
the Emperor of the universe, different than the God Emperor of Dune, of course. But anyway, continue. Yeah.
Yeah. Are we going to talk about 40K or are we going to talk about about Dune?
I mean, if you're honestly asking me which I'd rather talk about, but continue, Stuart. Yeah.
the soundtrack changes and we start getting like a synth wavy type
Synthy.
score, and the song sounds. There's something about the melody that reminded me so much of "Low" by Flo Rida. I was very distracted.
I loved a lot of the music in this. I liked when it got synthier. This is the guy who did Sinners and like a bunch of other stuff.
That's always
like
been
the Academy Award winner.
One of the strengths of the Mandalorian show is the music. The opening music is so good, and it sets it all up. This movie, the music's really good, but that's always been a Star Wars secret weapon. Like that, you imagine that first movie without John Williams' score, and it's just not quite as great a movie. Music has always been a really major thing in Star Wars.
Sound design in general is like incredible in the Star Wars franchises. Everything just kind of sounds cool.
Yeah,
But
and the music in this is really good.
Like, I know that they've done different things in the shows, but for a movie, I feel like this is the first time they've like gone away from like pure orchestral John Williams-y stuff. And so this is one case where this movie is doing something different.
Well, because it's
mostly more of the same.
But it's aping what it did in the show. It's the same composer who did the show. So Ludwig Göransson. Right, Göransson, and so it's continuing the style from the show. But that was one of the exciting things about the show, right? When it started, was that it sounded a little different,
But yes, it's funny
like Apple computers, they were thinking different,
even though they should have been thinking differently. But that's
why you're a PC user, Dan, because you're not cool enough to drop the LY and get with Apple.
I am an Apple user. What am I talking
But
about?
you're like a PC user who in an app.
So Monkey Scorsese.
No. I wanted to say about Martin Scorsese. That's what it was. It is funny that like Mando keeps going back to this monkey vendor who like there's no evidence that he like particularly knows more stuff than anyone else on the street.
No.
And he actively is like, go away.
He's
I'm not
like,
going
I don't
to
want to talk to you. I mean, also, we should make it clear in case so people don't write in mad. We don't see that. Do we see if he has a tail or not? Because if he doesn't have a tail, then probably he's not a monkey, but an ape of another kind. That's all right.
Sure.
He's a different kind of primate.
A space ape.
Sounds of tons of email windows closing. All right. I won't
They
send in
addressed
my
it
comment.
fine.
But
Their void shields are up.
He does have one of the funniest moments in the movie, which I think was legitimately funny, but also it makes the Mandalorian look like an idiot. Also, where he goes, I'm looking for Rod of the Hutt, and he's like, oh, you mean the most famous guy on the planet? And he points, and Mandalorian is standing next to a billboard that says like Rod of the Hutt with a big picture of Rod of the Hutt on it.
Yeah, we find out Rod has been working as a gladiator for the local crime lord Janu, and if there's one thing we know about Rada, he's not his dad. He doesn't want to be like his dad. He left town.
His fucking waist is snatched. There is no way he is his dad.
No. He is a beef hunk of meat, just a beef hunk of
space slug. He has
a real character arc where he starts out as seeming like a pretty good guy who doesn't want to be a gangster, and by the end he joins the New Republic and becomes a pretty good guy who doesn't want to be a gangster. So this is the movie's idea of an arc. Is they introduce Rod of the Hutt. He's like, hey, I don't want to be a gangster. My aunt and uncle are trying to kill me, so I'm just trying to stay away from them. And Mandalorian's like, no, they care about you. They really want you back because they love you so much. And but he's always the same character. No one.
No, I want to push
grows
back
at all.
He's a freelancer in the beginning, and he's on salary at the end.
Okay,
So
fair.
He
You're
goes
right.
from 1099 to W2 is his arc.
They should have visualized his change then by him changing the paperwork he files.
This is a bit of an overall critique, maybe early in the show for it, but like that is the fundamental issue with a lot of this movie is that like no one has any sort of character arc. Everyone is the same at the beginning of the movie as they are at the end of the movie.
You could argue
setting aside Mandalorian stupidity, the basic structure of the story is we need somebody to get this bad guy, and Mandalorian goes in and does that. And that happens like 5 times, and then the movie's over.
Except by the end of it, it goes from we're trying to mop up the bad guys of the Empire that are still around to I guess we'll bring in X-Wings just to help the Mandalorian with his personal vendetta because he has to murder people who have seen his face.
Well, I mean, they do.
But then afterwards, they're like, oh, it turns out those Hutts were also selling us out, so it was good that we blew them up. But you don't know that till after they bomb them to shit. but anyway, so there is one character arc in it, which was described to me by a coworker recently as at the beginning, the Mandalorian doesn't let Grogu press a button in the starship, and at the end, he lets him press the button at the starship.
Oh, wow.
Grogu's really grown in responsibility by the end of the movie. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but anyway, Rada's like, "Hey, man, I'm not a prisoner here. I'm exactly where I want to be. I'm working off my debt to this Janu. He's gonna let me go after the next fight. I'm gonna be a hero on this planet. People love me because I fight good, and it's gonna be great. And he doesn't want to be saved. So what happens next?
So the Mandalorian goes to see this. I think this is when. Is this when? Or is it after when Rada the Hutt is like, oh yeah, Janu, he's the guy. He's Janu Coin. Or is that afterwards?
That's later. That's later.
I think because the Mando goes to see Janu at a salt bar.
That's right. He goes to find him at a bar. He he intimidates one of his goons, knocks one of his tusks off the end of his tusk. Janu comes out and
he seems very civil with this situation.
Yeah, and so salt is very valuable on this planet. He's a gangster who trades in big hunks of salt, and he's like Mandalorian beats up a bunch of people.
That's like the real world for a time, you know.
Yeah.
Mandalorian beats up the bar. I don't remember why Janu tells him that I'm lying to Rada. I'm just gonna kill him after this
because the movie needs to get moving forward, and Mandalorian is not smart enough to figure it out for himself.
He's also trying to convince him to participate because he thinks that the Mandalorian would be his next great gladiator.
But it is very funny for him to be like, you should join my stable. You're a great fighter. I'm going to kill Rada. I'm about to trick him and kill him. Then you should join and be my new guy.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
If you overperform, that's what happens.
The Mandalorian, it seems to be considering it almost because he's so dumb. He's not going to do it, but he's always like, okay, that's not. You will have an opening. I've been looking for more job security.
But he goes back to the jail late at night to tell Rada, hey, this is what's going on. You're going to get killed at the next thing. And Rada is so convinced of this crime lord's goodness for some reason.
He wouldn't do that to me.
He's like,
everyone's dumb in this movie.
And he calls for the guards, and Mando gets gassed. And
it was a trap. It was all a trap.
It was a trap.
He now has
Where's
to
Admiral
fight.
Akbar to tell him it's a trap? Oh, he died.
He has to fight Rada in the gladiatorial arena. Meanwhile, Grogu is in a little cage by Janu's.
It is cute. Grogu forgets that he has force powers and just watches everything happen and doesn't do anything.
So we get a gladiator fight between Mando and this jacked Hutt.
Guys, I can't stress enough how much I detest the design of Rada the Hutt. I mean, if you told me there was a Hutt there was a Hutt that was like a gladiator fighter, I'm like, okay, we got a big old fat slug rolling around knocking dudes over. That sounds great. Nope, they made him weirdly muscular, and the more they move, I like Hutts in theory, but them moving around all digital style, it looks like dog shit. It's horrible.
And there is you could have him, like you're saying, you could have him be an intimidating fighter just by him being super tough and just a big thing that will get you. And there are wrestlers who are just big
all
dudes.
Strong men are huge.
Yes.
Stuart, what do you feel about the Hulk Hogan aesthetic? Do you like wrestlers? Did you like the Hulk Hogan character in the world of wrestling? Because the other thing about this about Rada is he can't stop doing the Hulk Hogan, lifting his arms over his head and flexing and stuff.
I mean, I like the idea of a peacocking wrestler type guy. I think that's fine, but I think it would be better if he was just a giant blobby slug.
But also he doesn't. Jeremy Allen White's performance as Rada the Hutt is you don't believe this is a character who would be peacocking for the crowd. He seems like I just want to live my life. I just want to get out from under Jabba's shadow and be my own man somewhere in the universe. So I became a famous gladiator fighter. That's the only way to do it.
Let me kill people, please.
It'd be funny if it turns out that he's just a showbiz guy. He's he becomes a tap dancer. He's the first song and dance Hutt.
I would love that. That'd be great.
I mean, like a Jackie Chan type background.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, a kid forced to perform and then trained to be the greatest martial arts star of all time.
Hutt tap dancing would even work.
I mean, he'd kind of be the only one on this planet who would do it. It would be
he's got to get little prosthetic feet.
That is Star Wars showing us something we haven't seen before again.
That is true.
Well, speaking
we
of
have yet to have a big, good. I mean, they tried in the Return of the Jedi special edition, but we've yet to have a really good, cool, big musical dance number in a Star Wars movie, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Speaking of his peacocking, it's his undoing. He's flexing for the crowd, but that allows Mando to get the upper hand. But he tosses his weapons away. He yields. He's like, oh, Rada won, so let him go. Forcing Janu to, enact his evil plan with both of them in the ring, and they'll both have to fight all these monsters that he floods the ring with. Stuart, you're shaking your head. I disagree. So because this ends like this, they have this gladiatorial fight between all these monsters. It ends with like one of them managing to disable the electric fence that's keeping them in, and monsters then rampage over the Star Wars city. I'm like, yes, I've not seen monsters rampaging through a city in a Star Wars movie. I like this.
I'm with you. I'm shaking my head because the monsters of choice are a direct reference to the first Star Wars movie. They're the
hologram
monsters.
the chess piece, right? Oh, yeah.
And so you see them do some of the same things.
What bummed me out is that I'm like, they're just doing that.
Well, what bummed me out was that didn't bother me as much, although I got kind of bored of it. At first, I was like, "Oh, that's funny that they used some of the guys from the hologram chess game, and they're doing the same moves, even, But what bummed me out was the monsters go on the loose in a movie that has a hero. The hero has to catch Rada the Hutt, right? But he keeps getting distracted by these monsters because he's got to round up these monsters and save the innocent civilians who are now being attacked by these monsters. Instead, the Mandalorian goes, I don't give a shit, and just flies after Rada the Hutt, leaving behind people being, I have to assume, killed by these monsters. And that was one of a couple moments.
I don't know whether they deserve death for it, but they were all coming to a blood sport. Those monsters are out on the streets. There are people on the streets who not everybody in town went to attend this gladiator battle. Like if it was if there was a Freddy versus Jason match in an arena and you dropped an innocent person into it, that audience, they are culpable in whatever happens. But if Freddy and Jason get loose and are rampaging through, they've left Madison Square Garden, they're rampaging through New York. Not everybody in New York was tuning into this blood sport match.
Now, is Freddy in the real world or is he in the dream world?
They brought him into the real world. They brought him into the real world,
because
they wanted to stop being polite and start getting real. I saw this was one of a couple moments in the movie where I feel like one of the issues with the Star Wars franchise, beyond the quality of the storytelling or the characters, whatever, is that the moral underpinning of the series has degraded over time in a way that I find really troubling. Where in the first movie, it's like, the Empire's obviously bad. They do bad things. They kill Luke's parents, or his aunt and uncle. And the good guys are against that. The bad guys are all faceless, or effectless, almost robotic figures. And the good guys stand for freedom, individuality, life, etc. Over time, it has become that the good guys are just the good guys because we say they're the good guys. The bad guys are the bad guys because we say they're the bad guys. And in the Mandalorian movie, the Mandalorian does not act. He's not a heroic character. He doesn't help people, and by the end of it, it is. But by the end of it, it's like, well, I have to kill these two Hutts because they saw my face, and I'm like, well, that is not something I can stand behind. If you're supposed to be a hero, if this is a movie like Payback with or a Point Blank with Lee Marvin, then I go, okay, I buy it. But if it's a Star Wars movie, I cannot accept that.
But he's a bounty hunter. Like, that's the thing. Like, he's a different type of lead character.
But then you shouldn't make the movie as if he is a heroic character, which they're trying to do.
I mean, this is a pro-capitalism movie. He's a freelancer. He had clear terms for his contract, and they were violated, and you are allowed to stand up for it. And also, if you're there to get Rada the Hutt, and that is what you are being compensated for, that's all you should do. This is the most capitalistic movie I've ever seen.
Maybe, but
Star Wars has moved away from its Marxist, communist roots.
Yeah. I don't know, but it's on the side of the workers. He's slaughtering his bosses because they have not held up the contract.
I don't know about that. What it really comes down to me is this moment where the Mandalorian just lets innocent people get attacked by monsters, and which would have been a cooler sequence if he has to stop these monsters.
What I said isn't true because he violates his own contract all the time.
He violates it multiple times. He's bad at his job. But also at the end when he's the one who violates the contract, to be honest.
He does actually. No, that's right.
But also when they take his helmet off to shame him, and he says, they go, ha, now you're an outcast because we've seen your face. And he goes, or I could just kill you. And is the audience supposed to be like, yeah, exactly. Go ahead and kill them because they saw your face. Like, that's a bad rule. That's a dumb rule. And I can't that if he's a bounty hunter who is a morally gray character, or he's the villain, I totally buy he would have this rule of, if you see my face, I have to murder you. But to be like, well, he's the hero of the movie because he's got this cute kid with him. But if you see his face, he has to murder you. I don't buy it. I don't buy it.
This does not bother me. I'm like, oh yeah, he is a morally gray character who happens to be being used as a weapon for people we like, and he has a cute kid, but that doesn't mean he's not doing these, bounty hunter things.
But then I think it has to. I just feel like the movie has to present him in that way, and I feel the movie is not presenting him in that way.
They
He's
definitely
presenting him
didn't-
that way
they
by
didn't-
having him do these things.
They
they're not-
didn't
but they're
bear
not-
down on this point. Like, you're absolutely right, Ellie, in what you're saying. But I don't remember that as being like, when he took his mask off, I just was like, oh, they want us to see Pedro Pascal. Like,
Well, I think
it
that's
was-
true.
They're just like, oh, the Hutt twins, as you say, every single thing they say is so clearly evil that we don't mind when they meet an untimely end. Whatever the logic of you're right.
No, but
like,
I would
the
so much rather
story
if
is
he was
dumb.
like you lied to me. You're
Yeah.
you ruined people's lives, as opposed to, oh, you saw my face, now I got to kill you. I have to admit also, and we can get off with the plot, I apologize. I have to admit that also I can't erase the fact that I'm seeing this movie at this point in time where it feels like morality is degrading all around me in the
Right,
world
right.
that I live in, and we live in a gangster country now that is run by a Hutt, essentially. Like if there's any fictional character that Donald Trump reminds me of, it is Jabba the Hutt. And so to be thrown into a Star Wars movie where part of the fantasy of Star Wars is not just I get to be in space and shoot lasers, but also there's a world of good and evil, and good is fighting evil, and good will triumph over evil. And so to be thrown into that, I feel like if this movie had come out during the Obama era, I'd be like, whatever. But coming out now, I'm like, Star Wars, don't you succumb to the darkness as well? Like, I don't want you to be corrupted the same way that the government and the Justice Department and big business and tech have been corrupted. So maybe that's it. Maybe that's why I'm so frustrated with it,
Anyway,
Or sensitive to it.
Rada tries to take it on the run, but they chase him, they get him with the help of Zeb, the pilot friend, I guess, who makes no impression.
Yep.
He just kind of shows up when they need him and doesn't do anything else. Yeah.
Yeah, and Rada's like, "Don't take me back to my uncle and aunt. I guess don't take me back. They just want to kill me so they can take over the family business, which would normally fall to me, even though I don't want it." And Mando's like, "Oh no, well, I got to give you to them to get the location of Coin." And Rada's like, "Oh, I know who Coin is. It's Janu." And this is the point where I'm like, look, I know this movie is going to be just a series of kind of unconnected quests, but you really make me feel like I'm wasting my time when you're like, oh, is that guy we just left?
But it's not even like they have to just scramble the letters in his name or something. Janu
Yep.
Noyak, Janu Coin. He just goes, oh yeah, Janu Coin. That's my boss. Like,
Yeah, he doesn't have to like pull a mask off or anything. Or,
no, it doesn't even reach the level of complexity of a Scooby-Doo plot.
Yeah.
Figuring out who the bad guy is in this one. Yeah.
So they
But,
go to Janu's mansion.
Yeah, it is. I love that he does have like a mansion, like an '80s like drug lord in an action movie, and they're like, "Oh, there's a bunch of stormtroopers here." Checks out that he's like an Empire guy. I don't know. They just do a big raid. They
just capture him. Yeah.
they capture him. There's
This sequence
some,
I have no memory of, even though I saw it
well, there's
less
some
than a week
goofy
ago.
comedy stuff with like they're trying to Mando's trying to explain to Grogu over the comms, like, I need you to get the ship running so we
right,
can
press this
have
button.
and like he just keeps pressing buttons that shoot missiles.
Oh, you know
I
what?
gotta
That's
admit, I
pretty
was
funny.
amused.
I like
Him
that.
shooting the missiles was funny, and I did like the designs of the luxury land speeders, which look like sports cars, basically.
Yeah.
Like, I thought that was
I mean,
really funny. Yeah.
I thought it was
I
crazy that these fucking stormies are just blasting away at the land speeder that's carrying their boss.
Their boss.
I
They're like,
criticized
yeah,
the
this open top land speeder. One of these will probably hit him.
I criticized the comedy filmmaking with the gag earlier, but I do think I
The
really
missile stuff was
enjoyed.
funny, yeah.
Well, the fact that he's like, no, don't do that. That's why there's a protector over it, and then he just does it with the second one that has a case on it. I'm like, okay,
because
that's good.
it's funny that it goes from it was an accident to he just wants to do this. This is-
Yeah.
like Grogu is a kid. This is the most kid behavior from him. The whole movie, where it's like, yeah, but I want to do it, so I'm going to do it.
Anyway, so what happens?
So that is a good moment. That is funny. Yeah, I do.
He
remember
gets
that now.
he gets these Anzellans. They're four Babu Fricks is what it is.
Yeah, Babu Fricks.
There's
remember
there's
Babu
four
Frick.
Babu Fricks, and I don't remember Babu Frick being so much like the Minions from the Minion movies, but they talk just like the Minions.
He
It's
was
like-
pretty. I mean, like he was a little bit more like old man, like, hey,
Okay,
but like,
yeah.
What's
but,
up,
But it's also the thing of every Star Wars race is the same. So Babu Frick seemed like he was a little old man, so his race is just little old
I
men.
would have
And they all
loved-
well, they're all mechanics.
and they're also all mechanics.
I would have
They're all
either
little old man
A,
mechanics.
So these guys show up and they're going to be part of the adventure later on. And I would have loved if either there had been like a little bit more variety between the Babu Fricks.
Sure, that you could tell them apart in any way.
Or if they did cool stuff. Other than just hung out, like if they like built some cool shit.
I mean,
I love that they're constantly doing like sort of Popeye style chatter, where like it's like most of it's like, but every once in a while you'll hear like actual words.
Come
just
on, baby.
tossed in.
They always call
fine.
Grogu
I
baby.
like that.
Baby, this way, baby. This way, baby.
I love all that. I just hey, I'm very happy with the meal that's been given to me, but could I like for it to be more
Yes.
interesting?
Sure.
Yes.
It could have been. It could. You want a better meal than what's been getting, even though it's filling your tummy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I do think, and I do like another gag that I did think they pulled off well was when they're taking the Mandalorian to their ship at the end to escape, and he sees the Babu Frick ship is tiny and he can't fit in it.
Yes.
Yeah.
But this augurs the best. Like the best sort of stretch of the movie is about to show up, which is when the tiny little guys take center
over,
stage.
yeah.
Yes,
But
When it essentially
anyway,
becomes Star Wars Minions for a short period of time. Grogu and the Minions. Yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah, give it to me.
So he drops off coin.
Yeah, they go to what's his face, the Mandalorian, our main guy.
What's
He's
his
like,
face? That's appropriate.
They go to
Yeah,
his
don't know,
little
he's got a
house,
mask on.
right?
Yeah.
His little,
I mean, his
his
face
little
is
he's
ranch.
like, I need a
Pascal.
break. I need to take a little vacation. I need some R&R. So he goes off with Grogu to just hang out in his shack for a while.
with the
and
little
then-
Babu Frick dudes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a bounty hunter from the Hutt shows up. And I like the design of this
Sure.
bounty hunter.
He's a
This bounty hunter looks cool.
space ninja. You know.
Yeah, he's
got-
kind of a little bit Kung Lao, and he's
Uh-huh.
also a little bit taller, and he has like a hat that is armor, basically.
He's a
which is
tall,
pretty
thin
cool.
guy. He's got one of those wide hats that you see in like Ninja Scroll, but he
Yeah.
uses that as a shield. You know, yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell whether he's a robot or not at times. Does he have any lines of dialogue? I don't
No.
think so.
I don't think so.
I don't remember if his name is ever
It
mentioned.
does.
And he's got a pet wolf.
He communicates menace.
Yeah.
Like for a guy who doesn't speak, like the visual design is effective.
It's a
As the
great
kids
design.
would say, he is constantly aura farming.
The kids would say that. But he's the Boba Fett of this movie. He is
Now,
the
what kids have you been hanging out with, Stuart? I'm concerned about this.
I mean, I'm assuming
farmers.
I'm assuming most of the people who are posting on the internet are kids these days.
But yeah, he is what Boba Fett is to like The Empire Strikes Back. This guy is to the Mandalorian. He's the
Right.
he's the
Yeah.
cool looking silent bounty hunter who comes and do the job. And again, he's got a pet wolf. So
And
Yeah.
so the Mandalorian is manages to shoo Grogu and the four little guys off to safety before he gets
I'm
captured.
gonna look up what the name of that species is. We can't just keep calling them the
Well, no,
Babu
they're
Fricks.
and I just don't know how to say it. It's Anzellans. I have it in front of me, and I don't.
Anzellin. Oh, okay, that's what it's
Anzellin.
Yeah.
But Mando's taken to the twins. They've got Rada. He didn't escape. They're going to slowly torture him with over his Hutt lifespan of hundreds of years by zapping him in the brain. It looks like.
Oh my God, this movie is so dumb.
And they,
Just hearing you have to say the events that happen in order, and there's no connective tissue. There's
know what?
none.
No, there's no, it really does. I mean, this is
It's just
this
like the next cutscene begins.
This is the big criticism the movie has gotten, which it feels like 2 episodes of a TV show slammed together. And I think we can't deny that criticism. Like it really does feel like 2 episodes
Not
of a TV
even a
show
good
slammed
TV
together.
show. Like there's no cause and effect. It's
No.
just like another toy enters.
Will, I can't disagree with you, but also like the dumb is what I like about it. So I don't know. It's a tough one for
The
me.
point you're at
least.
in the movie now, I got to say, like you guys told me you have to go watch this movie if you want to be on this podcast, you have to go
This
to
is
the
the
theaters
price
and
you have
watch
to
this
pay.
movie.
Yeah.
So I did, and I was kind of excited to do it, but just because of my schedule, I ended up having to watch a 10:30 p.m. showing of The Mandalorian
Wow.
up at the Americana, and which is a fine theater.
Oh, that theater's fine. I wish you didn't have to pay for parking.
Do more
That's my main
local
issue.
LA stuff.
Oh, it's quite all. I love going
Yeah.
to the Americana. I like buying tickets on the old app.
Yeah, yeah.
But at this point in the movie, where it's about like 12:45 a.m., 12:30 a.m., and I'm sitting there, and it's like And I'm like, what? I looked up at the screen and I go, what is the problem? Like, what's happening that's bad? Like, can't everybody just go home and like, everybody's free and they're out and like, why are we stressed? And it was just like so insane.
Because the Hutts are never going to forget. They're crime lords.
It's like if you're cool with people seeing your face, this movie's over.
No, they punish him, as you say, by removing his helmet.
The ultimate shame.
And they
Which
drop
again, he's just like,
revealing-
I don't care. Go home.
Revealing that face.
that mustache.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they drop him into a pit of water beneath them.
Classic Hut move.
Yep.
Which
Well,
has
even
all
that,
those-
it's like,
pits.
I guess all huts have monster pits with trapdoors that they put people
Yeah.
in when they're mad at them. Yeah.
So when
And
the
now
first time
they're
like
like-
a housewarming party, they're like, show me your pit. Ooh, nice.
What kind of monster you got in there? Ooh, very nice. Yeah.
And first he defeats
This is where
like
the
these-
magic happens. You know.
Welcome to my pit. First he defeats these smaller monsters. And
Well,
you
so
know,
those
you're
and
like,
I did like these are so.
Yep.
My understanding, these are Amanamans.
Yep.
Like they took
Classic
a background
toys.
character from Return of the Jedi and they made them into kind of like Creature from the Black Lagoon type.
well, wait,
piranha
when
men.
I didn't recognize them. When would we have seen it in Jedi?
Jabba's
I mean, in
Palace.
Jedi, he is so far in the background of Jedi at
Okay.
Jabba's palace. It is one of
I
those where
had,
they
I had
made
a couple of the figures, so that's how I
Yeah.
remembered.
They made a toy of
Speaking
him.
of
You can
toys.
see he's got like a staff with a skull on it, and that's easier to see in the background than the actual figure. He is like if they hadn't made a toy of him, nobody would remember
Yes,
this thing.
I
You can
I
barely
am
see it.
vaguely seeing this Kenner toy in my head. But to get back to so he defeats these, and you're like, oh, you know, he's defeated. Oh no, my friend. There's a big skull-headed water dragon that is in there.
And
that I
that's,
thought
this
looked
is
cool.
like a direct, like 70s sci-fi, not like
I
paperback
didn't know
cover, right? It looks exactly like, if it isn't a direct lift, it looks so much
It looks like that kind of monster. Yeah.
Okay.
well, maybe
It's some
that's why I
kind of
liked it.
monster from a 70s paperback cover.
Sure.
Yeah.
Because I thought it looked cool, and I don't care.
It look-
No, I think it
looks
does.
It
great.
did look cool.
It
did
looks
look
really cool, and that's some of the best effects in the movie. I think are
Yeah.
that creature.
It was
you know?
scary.
And in a otherwise fairly drab environment, it's this like pale, sickly white color, which
Yeah,
is cool.
this
And-
pop of brightness, and I think the fight between him and the Mandalorian is one of the better fights in the movie.
Yeah.
That's
like,
And we haven't mentioned. So he's fighting it. He gets he defeats it, but it's like he's poisoned by the bite. I have not mentioned.
he doesn't
at
have
this
his helmet
point
on, so Pedro
that
Pascal had to be
meanwhile,
in these scenes. Yeah, so
Grogu and the Anzellans have been on their own adventure, flying in their tiny little spaceship.
maybe this
and-
is part of the thing. Is there's so clearly things in this movie that are meant to appeal to children, which is
Right.
Grogu, the Babu Fricks. To then have that be in the same movie as a character who's like, "You saw my face, I have to murder you." It's a
that's fair.
clash of tones. You know,
That's true.
I would agree that that's a clash of tones. Now that you pointed out, because
It's a clash of kingdoms.
I was primarily thinking of this as a kids movie. You know, like
Yeah.
and like I was going to save this to the end, but like Lucas said, "Oh, these are movies for kids," and that was always kind of annoying when it felt like it was a justification for why the prequels were bad.
Yeah.
But now there's been so much Star Wars, like there've been so many movies made that I am fine with the idea of like, yeah, this one's for kids. Like maybe it's not pointed at me. It's pointed at like
Yeah. But if
younger
it's for-
audiences
but if it's for
and
kids-
the dad who
But
brought
if it's for
them.
kids, make it a movie for kids. Don't
Yeah.
try to have it both ways. But anyway, but they're having their adventure.
They're
Grogu,
having,
the
and I
Babu
love
Fricks,
all
they're
this
running
shit,
around in
'cause,
the
like
woods.
this is
Yeah.
like little rubber guys running around.
Yes.
And just constantly over here, baby, come over here. Oh no, oh, watch out! Oh, like it is very fun.
If the whole movie was that stuff, man, it would be one of my favorite Star Wars movies.
There's like a
he is
lot of subspecies in Star Wars where they just kind of mumble and throw a word out every now and then, like
Yep.
the Jawas.
Yep.
I think you could get them all together in a room and it would be so fun.
If you did a movie called, you did a series called Star Wars Little Guys, and it's the Jawas, the Babu Fricks, Baby Yoda. It'd be great.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Especially if in the background you have, the high stakes, crazy stuff going on, but it's the little
Yeah.
guys like doing the little stuff that's important.
Here's my pitch for what I think would have made this a better movie. You call it Star Wars Grogu and the Mandalorian. Grogu is the star of the movie. It is his point of view. The Mandalorian stuff is kind of happening in the background, and so you're seeing like Grogu dealing with this stuff, and you get more of the fun
Dan
stuff and
says
less of
no.
less of
No,
the dumb
I'm shaking
stuff.
my head because I'm like, man, like I think I enjoyed this movie more than you guys, but like this is the version of the movie that would have been great. Like, I cannot argue that you fixed it in one idea.
Flip that title. Flip the billing. Does Jin Jajarin, he has to have top billing all the time? Is that in his contract or what? So.
But anyway, Grogu and the Anzalians arrive in time to get Mando out of like the pit he's trapped in. They all run off. Like Mando is poisoned at this point, obviously. So he's in danger still, but like he's still got his strength enough to run away. And there's the great gag that Elliot mentioned before, where he like goes to the spaceship. And he's like, "Oh, I can't fit in that spaceship."
Because the spaceship is the size of a box that like the toy Millennium Falcon would have come in.
So he tells them to go. He tells Grogu to go. We don't see Grogu going, notably. Is that going to be important?
We ain't going anywhere.
No, come on.
So
the
Mandalorian shoots a bunch of people and then collapses.
By people, we're talking about battle droids.
They're all robots. At this point, at least, from this point in the movie, except for the 2 Hutts, it's anything he's shooting is a robot, pretty much, right?
Yeah. And so Grogu uses his force powers to like heal the wound, but the poison's still in there. Like Mando's like basically in a coma at this point.
There's a very funny part where he makes like a hut to store, not a Jabba the Hutt, but like a hut dwelling to store Mandalorian in, and he's using his force to move him, but the hut is not big enough, and he keeps bonking Mandalorian's head against the back of the hut.
Yeah.
I'm like, more of this, please. I want more of this.
And then like there's like a whole sequence where sort of Grogu's left to sort of fend for himself and care for the sick Mandalorian, and he keeps running off to a local fisherman on the planet.
Here's a character I found
fish.
A little confusing about just because it was like, oh, so there's other people on the planet who are not part of the Hutt kind of world. I guess there would have to be. It's a planet.
Yeah.
But
No, that would make sense in a normal movie, but in Star Wars, that doesn't.
Star Wars is very weird.
Compute.
Yeah. I gotta say, this is very akin to the Beatles movie Hard Day's Night when Ringo breaks off from the band and walks around by himself. And it's like this sequence of kind of sweetness and innocence, and it's also a break from all the loud mania. And it ends up being a lot of people's like favorite part of the movie. Not that it's got everything you want, but it's such an oasis of joy and calmness. That's what this is like. Grogu was like the Ringo of this group in a good way. In a way, it's like, I don't need to see John Lennon cracking wise. Let me see Ringo being sweet and earnest, walking around.
It's such a, if we can talk about the Beatles for a moment. One, I love that section of that movie. I mean, that's a great movie, but I love that section of the movie. But also, what you have to give Ringo credit for having the understanding and not the ego that he's like, oh, if I'm portrayed as this kind of like, kind of like simpler member of the Beatles who's not the fast-talking, fast thinker, and I just have this moment where I'm kind of worrying about myself a little bit, like that it's going to look great as opposed to like, well, I don't look cool in this section. Hold on a second. Because it really does seem like a lost child whose parents have let him wander away, and he's like, well, I'm the third most popular member at that time. I guess the most popular member of the band, right? Because they would always say he would get the most fan mail or something like that.
I mean, there's nobody in the history of the human race who played the cards they were dealt better than Richard Starkey.
That's true.
You're a mediocre drummer in one of the least famous cities on earth, and you will become the most beloved human. If you and Paul McCartney walk into a room, they're more excited to see you.
Drummer. He's not a great technical drummer.
That's
I would
I'm
argue.
Saying. That's what I'm saying.
He brings a lot of joy to what
he
he's
knew
doing.
exactly what the songs needed. He was great with
No,
fills.
played the cards that he was dealt.
But also that
you never have to do a complicated fill in your life.
Stuart is looking at his phone.
But also that
he's the Beatles.
Okay. That Ringo is like, I'm in a band where the third genius is George Harrison. I am working with 3 geniuses. I do not have to be a genius. I just gotta be adorable.
Yep.
Support them, be adorable. Eventually quit the band, then kind of come back, and then who knows, and all that stuff.
Let's take a trip back to Nal Hutta and talk about how. So the whole point of this fisherman character.
Will, how would the movie be different if the Beatles were in it? Where would you put the Beatles if you were either casting this movie in the 60s and you had to put the Beatles in? Who would they play, or would the Beatles be characters in the movie?
I mean, none of these characters are as interesting as the Beatles, but if I had to do it, I think I'd make the Mandalorian George, because I think George is the most amoral Beatle.
What?
I
Really,
think
even
so.
with all his spirituality and all that.
Yes, and he just was the most grumpy and kind of like, let's get on with it. Like I think
Lennon
he would
was an
leave everybody
abuser.
to die in the streets.
Come on.
Not all the time. George Harrison was the most like shoulder shrugging, like who cares? Want to go home and go to sleep? I think.
Okay.
Like when the
I would
Beatles
make,
got
I mean,
together
he's
in the
the
90s.
quietest. That would be the argument for being the Mandalorian in mine.
Well, if you're both agreeing,
I'll
it
stand
doesn't
by
matter
it.
how
George
you got
is
there.
amoral.
Okay.
But I think he's the Mandalorian. Grogu's Ringo. Paul is the guy on the ship who's like flapping his arms around a lot and trying and really doing a lot of activity, but we don't need him. And John
I
Lennon
was like,
is,
you know, you could have gotten a little bit easier on here, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
yeah, and I don't know who John. I guess John Lennon's Rada. I don't know where else to put John.
See, I think I might put
Maybe John Sigourney Weaver. I don't know.
maybe. I think I might put. Let's see. You know, I might make George Rada.
Okay, that's funny.
And Paul would be Grogu. I can't figure it out. No, I can't do it.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Ringo is really Grogu. Yeah.
Ringo's Grogu. It could be John as the Mandalorian, Paul as Rada, and who George
Hey.
could be the Hutt twins.
Hey, let's take this long and winding road back to Nal Hutta, where
Okay,
Grogu is the whole point of this fisherman character is he's just there to give Grogu some magic
antidote.
medicine,
Yeah.
the antidote to the poison, and so he takes it back, gives it to the Mandalorian, who wakes up, and they go to the ship, and he's like, "We got two options here, kid. We can go on the run, and we'll always be on the run, or we can stay and fight." And Grogu's like, "Hell yeah, brother!" He doesn't say it.
No,
yeah,
he
he's
doesn't
like
talk.
Goo Goo Gaga. Let's fight. Yeah.
Grogu needs blood.
He pulls out, he like puts on his little gizmo from Gremlins 2 headband.
I mean,
and,
10,000%.
I wish.
Gizmo
I
walked
wish.
so Grogu could run. There is no question.
yeah. So they break back into the twins' palace. They battle through the droids out there.
I didn't even realize this bounty hunter that is coming after him throughout this. He's from other Star Wars. He was in Clone Wars and stuff like that. I didn't realize that. So this is not our first appearance. This guy.
Design-wise, he feels very of a piece of the Clone Wars.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
my understanding that the new guy, the new Star Wars guy in charge, is very keen on bringing back a lot of these Clone Wars things.
Yes, because
so.
that Clone Wars was his thing.
Yeah.
So he wants to bring those characters. But I not knowing the Clone Wars at all, I was like, oh, this is a cool new guy. I guess I'll never know what his name is. But he was introduced in some other thing,
I don't care much about the stuff that happens in this last action sequence, other than
But what if it
we
was the
get
last action
these-
hero?
We get these two giant robots that are Phil Tippett
Those
animated
seemed
things.
very Warhammery. Those two giant robots.
Love 'em.
And that was cool. I like to see the stop motion on those things.
Yeah, and Grogu
Yeah.
helps the Mandalorian to defeat them. you know?
Yeah, the young
Yeah.
protect the old, and the old protect the young. That's the
They,
way, right?
That is the
That
way.
is the way.
Never take
no, the
off
way
your
is a song
mask.
by Fastball, actually.
Oh, never mind.
I don't know. They fight their way in. They free Rada. They fight the twin. Rada fights the twins. They all collapse into
It's
the
a
pit.
big fight. Everyone's split up into their different fights. So
Except
Mando is
for-
fighting Embo. Rada's
Yeah.
fighting his aunt and uncle.
Gumbo.
Grogu is I don't remember what
Harpo
he's
is
doing.
fighting Chico.
Harpo's fighting Chico. Harpo punches Margaret Dumont, punches the old lady that he's playing cards with. Oh yeah, she can't take it there.
Just Margaret Dumont.
he does. And
He
Chico,
does?
Yeah,
Or,
they're- is it Margaret Dumont or is it the other woman that he punches? I can never remember. But they're playing
I think
cards.
it's
And
not, you're right. It's not Margaret Dumont. It's one of the women in
it's
the
the other,
card.
and he instigates a fist fight
game.
and he punches her in the stomach so hard that it lifts her off the ground. And Chico goes, "Oh yeah, she can't take it there."
It's it is such comedy fighting. Like,
Yeah,
I
it's-
feel
I mean,
like
it's
I feel bad. We're
ridiculous.
all laughing at.
At no point do you think he's really hurt this person.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it is all very.
It's clearly
very
a
silly.
gag. It was not a thing he did on set because he was so into the Harpo character, and they left it in.
Anyway,
Anyway, they're all fighting. They all collapse into the pool of
yeah,
Yeah, so the
Grogu
dragon snake
uses
is going to kill them all.
yeah.
force powers to pull Rada up. So Rada is safe.
So the good guys are
Thank
saved and the bad
God.
guys are worm
The
bait.
bounty
We've all
hunter
fallen in
dips
love
out.
with Rada.
And the bounty hunter just goes like, "Peace out," just leaves. Yeah.
Yeah.
You paid me to fight for you, not to save you. He should have said that, but he doesn't talk. So
They got to escape, and so they call in the?
No,
I
they
think
get
the
out of
X-wings just
protocol.
appear.
They just show up.
and they do an airstrike. They're like, "We're gonna blow up the Hutt Palace," and they're like, "But we're in the Hutt Palace. Well, we got to get out in time." And so they have to Butch Cassidy jump from a high point as the place blows
well,
up
Mando
behind them.
insists
It's
that
so dumb.
they fire on his location, and they're
Yes.
like, "Are you sure, dude?" And he's like, "Never been
Are you
sure."
sure? We can't do that. Yeah.
This is the beat of the movie. 100%, I would lose if I was in charge.
Yes.
It feels so much like, well, it's a Star Wars movie. It's got to end with some like X-wings coming and shooting something.
Yeah.
But we don't need it at all.
It's so
but
unnecessary. It raises even more questions for me about like, so the mission of the X-wings now, they're gonna activate an entire X-wing squadron to save this like free agent bounty hunter who keeps screwing things up for them. Like they just blow up this Hutt building for no real reason, since the Hutts have just been eaten by a giant snake. You know, there's no. It's just totally unnecessary. And they jump from a high height, and Rado's like, that moat isn't that deep. But of course they're fine. It doesn't
It's
matter.
deep
It's
enough,
just
yeah.
it's just a waste. Who cares?
well, we learn after the fact, as I said before, they were feeding information to the Empire. So
Yes. So that's why they had to take them out, you know.
But Rado stays and decides to work with New Republic folks.
And what's his name?
Mandu-
The co-pilot or whatever.
Mando.
Pilot's like, I think I
Mandu.
got a suit that'll fit you. It's like, no, you don't. Look at this guy.
That's weird.
He's wearing a New Republic muumuu. Like there's no flight suit that fits a guy with his slug body shape. Come on.
Mando and Grogu is what I meant to say. They get in their ship and fly off into a new adventure. Mandalorian season 4, who knows? Maybe that's where they're going. That's
Maybe.
it. That's the story.
That's the
tale
movie. So
of
to
the
boil it
Mandalorian
down,
and Grogu.
as we said, to boil it down, the plot of this movie is the Mandalorian takes on a job, messes it up,
Right.
gets in trouble, gets saved from messing up the job. End of the movie. And like,
Yeah.
if this was I could see a version of this where it's a stripped down crime thriller version of a Star Wars movie, or where it works really well. But it still has to be so big and end with an X-wing blow up at the end, and the movie doesn't fit it's like sometimes you see a movie and you're like, oh, this is like 10 pounds of movie in a 5-pound bag. They put so much stuff. This feels very much like 3 pounds of movie in a 20-pound bag, where you're like, I can't even find the movie in the bag.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
We're trending there already. Let's do our final judgments, whether this was a good, bad movie, a bad movie, or a movie we kind of liked. I'm going to say that, like, yeah, what you're saying is correct. The biggest problem that this movie has, I think, is it doesn't justify why it's a movie.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't feel like a movie. And I'm not saying that the stakes have to be high, but there has to be a character arc. It has to feel like things are happening sort of in a inevitable progression, rather than like, and then this thing happened, and then this thing happened.
It has to
and
feel
then
like
this.
there's a story. It is telling you a story, and it doesn't really feel like it's doing that.
That said, I kind of like this movie. I think that it benefited from me having pretty rock bottom expectations. I'm at a point now where, like, I still love the Star Wars stuff I love, and the rest of Star Wars stuff, new Star Wars stuff, I don't know, maybe I'll check in on it if there's a reason to, but I don't care that much anymore. So having those low expectations and feeling like, oh, this is a movie for kids, not necessarily for me, as I said before, I enjoyed it enough, particularly the stuff with the little guys. My whole Letterboxd review was, quote, let's do a silly one. And that's the way I felt about all that stuff, where it's just like, yeah, we can be a little goofy here. I have almost already forgotten about it, as you can see from my trying to summarize it. But I enjoyed it enough while I watched it. Elliot, you give a...
Oh, sure.
I'm
going to say that similar to the movie Solo, I think that this was not a Star Wars movie and was otherwise the same movie, I probably would have liked it more. If it was just like this bounty hunter episode of an adventure in a far-off space fantasy world. But I think once you slap the Star Wars name on it and are in that world, even after the devaluation that world has had over the past 20-some-odd years, I still feel like I'm expecting a little bit more. I'm expecting something a little bit more magical, a little more special. And I think this is the first Star Wars movie where I dozed off for like a minute in the middle of it while seeing it.
Whoa.
Like, this is the first story, like seeing this this was my son's first Star Wars movie that he was seeing in the theaters. And he seemed pretty kind of like not that engaged by it. And so even if this is supposed to be like one for the kids, like it didn't it didn't satisfy the kid
I
that I
was
was
curious
with.
about that. Yeah.
Yeah. Afterwards, I was like, "Did you like it?" And he goes, "It was okay." And like,
That's pretty fair. How old's your son?
he's 7.5.
Okay.
But he's seen the other movies, and he got so into the world of Star Wars as a thing to know about.
Yeah.
He liked the original movies so much, and so I think, and then there's that, for me at least, there's that tinge of like, if this is the one for kids, why is this the one where the hero is supposed to be the morally gray character who has to kill to protect the memory of what his face looks like and things like that? It feels like this movie it's like a mishmash, and so I'm going to call it a bad movie, but it's not, we've seen worse movies. It's not like I was, while we were watching it, I was not like, ugh. Instead, I was just like, all right. I wish they had like just tried a little harder instead of, it felt a lot like, we have the release date for the Mandalorian movie, so we got to get something done, as opposed to what's the greatest, coolest story we could tell with these characters, or what's one moment with them that's going to be so memorable that we got to put it on the big screen because it's going to be so cool,
Yeah.
And that's the kind of stuff that I hope for when I see a Star Wars movie. Stu, Will, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to jump in. I'm going to say this is a movie that is just about a movie I kind of liked. I feel like it wastes a little bit too much time in a bunch of places. And as much as I like, when I watching the original Star Wars movies, like that stuff would be like the establishing shots was the stuff that got me so excited. I feel like that, like I've kind of lost a little bit of that now. I don't know why. Maybe something changed inside me, but all the stuff with the little guys, I was a big fan of. And, but yeah, I don't need to see a jacked hut. I'm not into that.
Somebody
Are you
is.
sure?
But yeah, it's kind of missing any. It's missing any like magical moments that I feel like even. I feel like Last Jedi had a few moments that were like, oh wow, that's pretty crazy. To even what's the one with the prequel one? Oh damn it. The one
Rogue
that
One.
Chris wrote. Yeah,
Rogue One.
Yeah, I think that had some good stuff in it too. But I don't know. Yeah, this one didn't really have any magical moments for me.
Well, Will, when you were just watching the movie, you just texted me, "Call the Oscars." So what did that mean?
It's a 5-star transcendent statement of where we are as a country. It's a statement of what the Star Wars franchise should be. No, I'm only kidding. This movie forgot to exist. It's a bad movie. It's sort of the equivalent of, it forgot to have any point of view or stance or comment really on anything at all. It is like watching somebody else play with action figures for 2 hours, and you have to every now and then be like, "Why is that guy doing that?" And the kid kind of goes like, "Well, because he's bad," and it's like, okay, and that's what it was like for me. And again, it probably influenced that I started watching it at 11 o'clock at night, and so this movie finished at 1:12 a.m. and I've never been more glad to see the closing credits come up. I was like, "Thank God!" And I just got out of there.
And you're still tired from it.
I'll never recover. So it's a little bit of an unfair review, but I'm going to say it's inoffensive more than bad, but I'll say bad movie.
I feel like we live in a world right now where the general feeling in terms of consumer products, things that are sold to people or stories they're told people is, that's good enough. This will be good enough.
Yeah.
And I feel
That's
like
what it
Mandalorian
feels
Grogu
like.
is the equivalent to that. It's not terrible, but it's
not.
like, this is good enough.
To me, it's like the smartest kid in class wrote a term paper an hour before it was due just so that he didn't get in trouble. And it's like, this is all right. I don't know. You obviously were not inspired when you did this, and there's enough glimmers of competence in here that I see you could do something interesting, but you didn't do it here. So
Jon Favreau is generally
care about
competent enough.
Yeah,
and
well,
I think the first season of Mandalorian is a really good time and like earned its runtime basically. I don't think I needed any more seasons of it, but it was a delight, and it had a nice simple story that a lot of Star Wars stuff didn't have, and it wasn't exposition heavy. And I thought it like did a Star Wars thing that I had not seen done before in a nice enough way. And this is sort of like a video game cutscene that goes on for 2 hours and 12 minutes.
Put that on the poster.
Yeah.
All fair.
Sunscreen companies calculate SPF by testing it on volunteers' butts.
There is a can of Spam in the Mariana Trench.
A Nobel Prize-winning physicist from the Manhattan Project invented modern speed bumps.
Mesoamerican native people invented kidney medicine that glows in the dark.
On the podcast Secretly Incredibly Fascinating, we explore this kind of amazing stuff.
Stuff about ordinary topics like sunscreen and Spam and speed bumps.
Topics you'd never expect to be the title of the podcast, Secretly Incredibly Fascinating.
Find us by searching for the word secretly in your podcast app.
And at MaximumFun.org.
If you like too many podcasts, you'll love Soundheap with John Luke Roberts. It's got clips from all your favourite podcasts, such as Diary of a Tiny CEO.
Leonard Sprague, tell me how you make your money.
I go to the beach and I steal people's towels.
Remember Armour.
Do you remember the trend of everyone whacking themselves on the head with hammers and mallets when they wanted to lose weight?
And Elty John's Lobberly Songs.
I'm here today with Kiki D. Hello, Kiki D.
Hello, Elton.
There's dozens of episodes to catch up on, and brand new episodes going out right now. So if you want far, far, far too many podcasts, then look for Soundheap on Maximum Fun. Boop, boop.
I'm going to take a moment to talk to you about Factor. The Flophouse is sponsored in part by Factor. I'm not just randomly bringing it up, guys. They're helping us, the show that we're on and you love.
They have paid us money to talk about them and why we like them.
We were going to do it. Luckily, we do like them.
Luckily, we do like them. Luckily, this is a product we do like. So that money is just the icing on the cake, the money icing.
Eating well can be hard, but sometimes that's not about willpower. It's about setup. You got to have the stuff around. You got to have it easy to make. You can't, you want to put as few impediments in your way if you want to eat well. Well, Factor can help you hit your goals this season without planning grocery runs or cooking because they've got meals built around your nutrition goals. What goals might those be? They've got high fiber stuff, high protein, carb conscious options for strength and workout recovery. Stuart Wellington. Check out Factor's Muscle Pro collection. Factor's fresh, never frozen, over 100 rotating weekly meals, including globally inspired flavors like Asian and Mediterranean. So there's always something new to look forward to. And you don't have to go out and get it. Ooh, the outside world. Actually, as someone who works from home, I would love to go out in the outside world more. But most people don't have that problem. So they're delivered straight to your door and they're ready to eat in 2 minutes. So you have more time for everything you love this spring. I have eaten and enjoyed these meals. I can have high standards when it comes to foods. I don't typically enjoy pre-made stuff, but I have enjoyed these Factor meals quite a bit, and I have enjoyed their convenience even more. So head to factormeals.com/flop50off, that's the numeral 50, and use code FLOP50off to get 50% off and free daily greens per box with new subscription only while supplies last until September 27th, 2026. See website for more details.
Are you looking to connect with your family? Our brains make memories, but we forget those sometimes, especially as we get older and more parents.
Especially me.
One way to keep those memories front of brain is with photos. And one way to share those photos is with Aura Frames. The great thing about the gift of an Aura frame is you can preload all the photos and add a gift message before it ships so that your dad can put that on the shelf when his friends come over and say, hey, look at my cool kid. And he doesn't have to pull up his phone and pull up his Instagram and show you the pictures. He's got them on the frame and they just show him those pictures.
His friends are going to have lost interest by that point if you got to put those
No, you can have those photos on display in his Aura frame. You can also share your photos and videos effortlessly. You can download the app on your phone and text the photos straight to the frame. So you don't have to worry. You can cut out the middleman. You do not have to worry about your parents figuring that sort of thing out. And you can keep adding anytime from anywhere. So maybe you get caught up in some kind of international game of espionage and you're trapped, and you need the only way you can survive is by sending an image of yourself to your parents' Aura frame. You can do that from anywhere.
That's actually a pretty good idea for like a movie thing.
That is, yeah.
Now, this is an easy way to shop for your parents, specifically if I think we got Father's Day coming up. Hey, it's a great Father's Day gift. If you want the digital photo frame that is picked as #1 by Wirecutter, you can save money on it now by visiting auraframes.com. For this limited time, listeners can get $35 off of their best-selling Carver Matte frame with code FLOP. That's AURA frames.com, promo code FLOP. Support the show by mentioning us at checkout. Terms and conditions apply.
I'd like to take a few moments before we move on to mention some things I'd like to plug from the world of Elliott Kalin. And guess what? It's all the same stuff that I usually plug. My new comic, Barbarian Behind Bars, is roaring towards the finish of its 5-issue miniseries. As we're recording this, issue 4 just came out, and issue 5 will be coming out soon. Find out the exciting, thrilling conclusion, for now perhaps, to the story of Darkor the Barbarian. Will he get out from behind bars? You're going to have to read issue 5 to find out. Harley Quinn, I continue to write for DC Comics despite the wishes of many Harley Quinn fans. And my Bat Quinn storyline, the Hark Knight Returns, is currently running, and it's actually getting some of the best feedback that I've gotten during the run so far. So I hope people enjoy it. This is Harley Quinn as her understanding of what a grim, gritty Batman would be like, and that one's continuing, and it's a 6-issue storyline, and I think it's going along well.
So
and
wait,
finally,
it's a comedy book that features primarily female characters. I would imagine you're going to get weirdos complaining about you.
The weird thing is, I mostly get complaints from people who don't like that it's a funny book. They want it to be an adventure book rather than or like, this is how are we supposed to take Harley Quinn seriously? I'm like, the clown lady?
The clown lady, yeah.
Yeah, but I love writing it. So I hope that some people enjoy it, but this Batquin storyline people seem to be liking. And my book, Joke Farming, How to Write Nonsense. Joke Farming, How to Write Comedy and Other Nonsense from the University of Chicago Press is still out there and will continue to be out there forever, I guess. Pick it up. I just finished recording the audiobook version of it. People have asked me about will there be an audiobook. I just finished recording it. I'm not sure when that will be out, but I think relatively soon. So stay tuned to this space for more information
when
about
that comes out, if you listen to it on like 2 times speed, it's actually illegal to do it. You'll get arrested.
It's too dangerous. Yeah.
Hey, let's answer some letters from listeners.
Sure.
They've done so much for us. Let's do the bare minimum for them.
I'm sure they don't even know who I am, but I'll get in on this.
Yeah.
This first letter is
a John. Let's get in on this.
This first letter is from a John, last name withheld. Hey guys, I just came out with a Mandalorian movie. I hope you like it. Can't wait to hear what you say about it.
From John Chef, last name withheld.
John, was an improviser. He was on an improv team at IO Chicago.
Oh, really?
Back in the early 90s. Yeah. When like Seth Meyers was doing it and Ian Roberts and
other tremendous movies.
I will
the original
never
Iron
forget.
Man.
I will never forget seeing Swingers for the first time when I was an adolescent. I saw it. I used to do this thing where this guy in New Jersey had a program where you would see a movie before it was released. He would arrange to have a movie before it was released, and sometimes he'd have speakers afterwards. And I would see this every week. And they showed Swingers, and it was like, I was, I think, 14 or 15 or whatever age I was when it came out. But I was like, I thought it was so funny. And I was like, what a cool movie. Like, what a cool, fun. And I haven't watched it in years, but I'm like, there's something about like seeing that movie and being like, I can't wait to see what else this guy is going to do. Yeah. And I want him to do more stuff that's his own stuff.
The funny parts of Swingers are really genuinely funny. It's got like a really sure hand on its comedy.
And it was very cool until every uncool person wanted to be cool.
Well, it's like how when Austin Powers came out, it felt like it was the cutting edge of movie comedy, and it so quickly became like, this
worst,
again. Yeah, do I make you horny, baby? Great.
No, baby, no.
This letter is from Kevin, last name withheld, who writes, "Hey, Peaches. In 2024, I finished the book The Brothers Karamazov by Dostoevsky. While reading it, I found my receipt for the purchase of the book in the pages. It was purchased from B. Dalton in December of 2006. This book had been in my possession through multiple moves for nearly 2 decades before I actually read it. What's strange is I read many longer and more difficult books in that span, but for whatever reason, I continued to pass over Brothers Karamazov again and again whenever I finished a book and needed a new one. Brothers Karamazov was excellent. I'm glad I read it, and now it's a title that's been on my shelf the longest and now the title that has been on my shelf the longest without being read is The Adventures of Augie March, which I'm sure I'll get around to eventually. Your recent episode on the film Mercy featured 2 book-related letters, so I figure this is fair game. What is the book or series or author you keep putting off even though you tell yourself you want to get to it someday? Best, Kevin, last name withheld.
I think this is a funny letter to me because I'm literally sitting next to a bookshelf with many books on. This is my to-read bookshelf, and there's so many books on it where I'm like, yeah, I've owned this book for a long time without reading it. There was I've read I had I think it was a year or 2 ago, I finally read the Science Fiction Hall of Fame Volume 2A, Volume 2B, books that I remember buying on vacation when my son was a baby, and he is now 12 years old. And I'm like, so I feel like nobody should feel ashamed for holding on to a book for a long time and never getting around to reading it, and they finally get around to read it, especially when it's a book like The Brothers Karamazov, which is like, that book is already 100 years old, more than 100 years old. Like it's not going to, the book, that the time is only going to help you appreciate that book more because you're going to be older and you'll have more life behind you. That being said, I also have the first volume of Remembrance of Things Past or In Search of Lost Time, the Proust series, and I'm like, I'll get to that at some point probably. But the other one is I keep telling myself when I finally finish the job that I'm on, I will finally take out from the library Gargantua and Pantagruel, and I'll finally read it. I've wanted to read it for years. It sounds like it's super funny, as funny as a 17th century French philosophy book can be. But that's one where I've been putting it off for a long, long time. That being said, just on a whim recently, I got from the library and read the biography of Samuel Johnson, which is like 900 pages of just Samuel Johnson going out to dinner and saying witty things. So I should really pick up these books and finally read them. So
I can't remember whether I mentioned this specific thing on the show before, but that's never stopped us in the past. I don't think it's like been on my shelf for particularly long because I can remember exactly when I got it, and I'll get to that in a second. But the thing that sprung to mind is The Mirror and the Light, which is the 3rd book from Hilary Mantel about the Tudor court after Wolf Hall and Bring Up the Bodies. And the thing is, like, I read both of those books, the earlier books. I loved them. I was excited to read the 3rd book, but I got it for Christmas right before COVID hit and we all went into lockdown. And my brain was not equipped to read something that complex at that point. And now it's years later, and I'm like, I can't remember the hundreds of historical figures she has put into these books and what their relationship is to one another. And so I just haven't picked it back up again because I'm like, I don't think I'll follow it anymore. Much as if George R.R. Martin ever finished the next book, I'd be like, I have no idea what's going on at this point.
I could fill you in, buddy.
Yeah.
I have been meaning to read the Fafhrd and the Grey Mouser stories by Fritz Lieber forever. I know I would love them. I just never get around to it. So that I would really like to read a series
Stuart, you know what we should do? I started reading those recently, and I read Volume 4 because it's the first one that fell into my hands, and Volume 1. We should read those together. You should start reading them. Let's read them together because they're super fun. I'd love to talk about them with you.
Yeah. Awesome.
I guess it's a boring answer, but when I hear this question, it's the book Dune. I've had Dune since I was 14 years old and been meaning to read it, and I'm sure I would like it. I love a lot of sort of adjacent things. Not that these things are all identical, but it's like I like Lord of the Rings, I like Game of Thrones, again, and I like all the Isaac Asimov Foundation series, and I like Stranger in a Strange Land. Stuff where it's like, well, this is probably going to hit something for you, and I've had it since then. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
That every time I pick it up, I'm like, I don't know. There's just so much happening, and I just put it down.
even as someone who likes Dune less than people who like Dune, I found it very readable, even at 800 pages or whatever.
I know.
I think the thing about Dune is I think you should try to go into it. No, I've read the first book, Dune book, I don't know, probably 4 times, and the sequels I have. It's like as you get farther into the series, I have read them less and less until there's some I just have not read because you only really need to read the first book. But I think go into it being like. As you would with any science fiction or anything, there's going to be a lot of world stuff I don't quite get a hang of.
Yeah.
But let me not worry about it because I think it's written so beautifully.
Okay,
It really, for me at least, Dune casts a specific kind of spell. And the only thing I can really compare it to is when I finally took Stuart Wellington's advice and started reading Gene Wolfe novels. And it was like once I started reading Shadow of the Torturer, where I was like, oh man, this is like Dune kicked up a notch, even in terms of like, I got to figure out what's going on here. But so I guess read Dune or read Shadow of the Torturer and then read Dune, and you'll be like, oh man, this Dune is a breezy read. This is easy to get through. He's not using every page doesn't have 5 antiquated words I have to look up on my phone to figure out what he's talking about.
This second, very, very important letter is from Jonathan, last name withheld, who writes, "Hello, Peaches. I was listening to an old episode of the show where Stuart explained he could make many songs into songs about him by replacing you with Stu. I realized you could do this with Man and Dan, giving you songs like the Beatles' Nowhere Dan, Leonard Cohen's I'm Your Dan, and the classic song where Neil Diamond explains to a girl that she will soon need a Dan. Songs about Elliot pending."
Yeah, that's a little harder. Yeah.
Last name withheld.
It was a real problem when my kids realized that Elliot is an anagram for toilet. That was not helpful.
Oh.
I mean, I have one more L than the word toilet, but otherwise it mostly works. But but it's hard to fit into songs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Will, there must be a lot of songs that you could put Will into, though, right?
And yeah, sometimes
I'm just a Will.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Fool on the Will.
I'll get back to you, but I'm excited to figure that out.
Will crazy after all these years. Oh, Will
Jagged
crazy.
little Will.
Schoolhouse Rock. I'm only a Will.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well,
and of course, Metallica's first album, Will 'Em All.
Uh-huh. and the Willing Moon.
Yeah.
Anywho,
License to Will.
Yeah.
Shoot to Will.
Hey, Bungalow Will, what did you will? Bungalow Will.
God, it ruins that just okay song.
Just taking one name and replacing it with another name.
Yeah. They're similar name. Bill and Will are basically the same name, too.
I know, it's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
It is hard.
Yeah. Oh, I'm shattered.
Let's recommend some movies we've seen recently or not so recently. It doesn't matter. I don't know why I always specify that. That might be a better use of your time. I went out and saw The Sheep Detectives, a movie that the moment my wife, I saw this trailer, I sent it to my wife because I'm like, this is 100% going to be up Audrey's alley because it's it's a cozy
British murder mystery and cozy mystery with cute animals. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, we've made this mystery even cozier with the addition of sheep.
Yeah.
But it's kind of amazing. Like the movie manages to be, a functional mystery, extremely funny, and also like touching and about real emotions at the same time, while also being a movie about sheep who are solving a crime. And I feel like, there are certain like special family films that come along, like your Paddington 2s or your Babes, and I'm comfortable now adding The Sheep Detectives to that class. I really, really enjoyed it. So that's my recommendation.
I saw that movie and I also really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good.
Yeah.
I'm going to recommend another big budget sequel similar to Mando and Grogu. But this one, I think, captured kind of the spirit of the original material a little better for me. And that, of course, was the recent smash hit, The The Devil Wears Prada 2. As a fan of the original, I feel like it updates a number of the things. It omits the elements you don't like, specifically Adrian Grenier. I feel like it's such a joy to get more of Meryl Streep doing this character. She's so fun, and she's such I don't know, she's such a great performer. It's just great to have her in a movie being kind of mean. And the movie also takes advantage of putting her in situations that are comedic just because, of course, it would be very silly to see her have to go to a normal cafeteria or fly coach, for instance. So I found this to be a lot of fun, and it was like just what I was kind of hoping for from this movie.
Yeah. It delivered.
Yeah.
And as a sequel, it kind of over-delivered because there's always a little bit of doubt with a sequel. Like, are they going to be able to recapture? So when they do it, it's a feat. It's a feat to be a good sequel.
Especially considering how much time has passed, you would think that there would be a lot of effort to just do a lot of remember this?
Sure,
and they did not that much of that.
Yeah. I think a lot of the original team was involved. That's often...
Yeah.
That can help. My recommendation is going to be Bone Temple. 28 years later, the Bone Temple. I just saw it last week, and I know it came out like a year ago. I was a fan of 28 Days Later. Didn't see 28 Weeks Later. 28 Years Later, I thought was good, but in a lot of Danny Boyle films, although I really enjoyed the ride, it felt like a little bit sort of disheveled in a way, although I enjoyed it well enough. And the Bone Temple was awesome. It was just a really well-constructed story with a terrifically fearsome villain. And I was compelled and just thrilled the entire time. And I'm not in the bag for zombie stuff always. I'm not a guaranteed give a crap about the zombie landscape. But I was, this whole movie had me, and I just was so grateful to be wrapped, I just to be my attention was just so thoroughly held that it finished. I'm like, oh yeah, good story, good movie, just a solidly good movie in a way that I loved it.
Yeah, it's really special.
It's really good, and I feel it's too bad that it was released so soon after 28 Years Later, because I think that affected how many people went to see it and how well it did. I think I think people kind of didn't realize it was a different movie.
I didn't at first when it came out.
Yeah. I remember seeing the billboards for it, and I'm like, didn't they just come out with one of these?
Is this DLC? What's going on here?
Yeah.
But
downloadable content.
I
saw.
And 28 Years Later, I liked 28 Years Later, but this was really a special film.
Yeah, it's really incredible.
And that it's rare that you get into the psychology of the zombie, which was really good.
And I was genuinely moved by that whole bit.
Yeah. That's a good movie. I'm also gonna recommend a movie that's got a little bit of the spooky, a little bit of the creepy about it. And is it a Czech comedy directed by Oldrich Lipsky? Yes, indeed, it is. That's right. This is a movie that was mentioned briefly in our Evan Dorkin episode. This is The Mysterious Castle in the Carpathians. This time, it is a parody of a specific Jules Verne novel, but with a lot of added stuff to it, and it was not as immediately funny to me as Dinner for Adele or Lemonade Joe, the other Lipsky movies that I've recommended on this podcast, but it gets really, really funny, and it's just these guys this opera singer is vacationing in the Carpathian Mountains, and the whole thing is his singing is constantly shattering glass and things like that. And his love has disappeared, and he's looking for her, and he becomes convinced that she is in a castle near this village that he's in, where people think that the devil is there and there's spooky things going on. It turns out to be a little bit more science fiction-y. And there are some gags in it that I think are so funny. And there's a lot of Jan Svankmajer designed kind of steampunk things. And it looks really good. As it went on, I thought it got sillier and sillier and funnier. And it's readily available on Tubi. So there's nothing stopping you from watching it, and that's The Mysterious Castle in the Carpathians. Again, this Oldrich Lipsky, his movies are the closest I feel like I've come to finding Mel Brooks movies made by someone who is not Mel Brooks. And
Elliot,
I think they're really funny.
I came close to dialing one of these up the other day. I know that's not as good as actually watching it, but that is the furthest you've gotten me toward watching a Czech New Wave movie yet.
Well, these are not Czech New Wave movies. These are just Czech movies.
Just
These are
Czech
not part of the
movies.
New Wave. Maybe you
Okay.
could make an argument that Lemonade Joe is a little New Wavy in some ways.
You got to
but
sneak
these-
like a bikini in the title or something and dance all over it.
No, the thing is, like, I'll like it. I don't know what's like. This is like that book question. I don't know why I haven't. I should watch
But I
a
get
genuine classic of. I should watch Closely Watch Trains.
You
or
should watch
something.
Closely Watch Trains is legitimately a movie on a different level. I think that's an amazing movie. But there's something there can be something, as much as it makes me feel like a Philistine sometimes. There are times when I'm like, I don't know if I want to watch a subtitled movie right now, but then when I watch them, I really enjoy them. You know, I start to forget that I'm having to check the subtitles, and it makes me look at the screen and not get distracted. You know,
But you do have to be in a a mood already where you're like, I'm not going to be distractible right now. Like sometimes
Yes.
I'm like, I know that I can't do this. My attention is not where it needs to be.
Yeah,
even if
I
I'm
think
going to like it.
I think the one you might like the most, Dan, is Dinner for Adele, or Adele Has Not Had Supper Yet, or whatever. Because that's the most. It's not a parody of Sherlock Holmes. It's a parody of like American detective pulp fiction, but it's a
Like
there's
that
something-
too.
There's something kind of. I think you might like that one more, but I don't know. I think his movies are very funny. I saw another one of his movies recently called "4 Murders Is Enough, Dear," and and like that one, I didn't think it was quite as funny as the others. That didn't quite hang together the same way, but there was still
Good
some
title.
very funny stuff in it. It is a great title.
That's a Giallo title right there, baby.
That's true. This was one where there's two competing crime gangs that are looking for $1 million check that has fallen into the hands of this school teacher who's kind of a nebbishy guy, and they keep killing each other, the different gangs, but he keeps getting caught with bodies, so people think that he's a serial murderer, and he becomes famous in the town, and everyone's afraid of him and respects him now because they think he's a serial killer. And he's like, every time he opens a door, a body falls out, and there's a scene where he's with the police. He's like, every time I open a door, a body falls out. See? And he's just opening doors in his apartment as dead bodies fall out.
Amazing. Well, before we close up shop on another episode, Will, is there anything you want to plug?
I guess just my podcasts, which are Screw It, we're just going to talk about the Beatles, and Screw It, we're just going to talk about comics. They are what is advertised. It's just folks chatting about those things. So check them out if that's
You say
if
that
grabs your interest.
there is another podcast inside of Screw It, we're just going to talk about comics called Screw It, we're just going to talk about war games.
That's
and that
true.
comes up a fair amount.
It's coming up more and more, which is weird because that movie is less and less important as time goes on, and we somehow keep finding
Very
reasons
important
to
to
go
me.
into our sub podcasts.
But like there's a couple podcasts where when a new episode comes out, I put them right to the top of my queue. And Screw It, we're going to talk about comics or we're just going to talk about comics is one of them. And I always enjoy it.
I do with my brother, and his opinions are steadfast and immovable. And we've bristled recently because if I don't like something and he likes it, he will not let the podcast move on until I change my opinion out loud, and then we can continue. And it's kind of funny.
And you and your brother Kevin are both master improvisers. You know, like you're so funny at picking up a bit and then just running with it. And
I think that's an overstatement, but I do appreciate it.
You invented improv when you and Kevin started the Compass
I'll say
Players.
that
You know,
me and
you're like-
I have two brothers, and none of us are emotional people. We are deadpan, low energy, non-dynamic, and all three of us do improv comedy on stage. To me, it's the funniest thing that any of us have ever done is just that we do that. That at Thanksgiving dinner are three of the stoniest, most still men. And we'll be like, "What'd you think of how's your improv going? How's your improvised comedy career going?" Three guys who should be librarians and arguing about how to properly categorize encyclopedias, and yet we go on stage.
Well, but I would say if you're interested in improv and you live in a place where they don't have an improv class or theater to go to, Will's book, How to Be the Greatest Improviser on Earth, is a genuinely really good book about it.
It is, and
I-
honestly, if you want a free copy, this is true. I'm going to say my email address right here, wines@gmail, WHINES@gmail. I'll give a free copy to anybody. If you're curious, you're like,
I wish
don't
I'd
wanna
known that
spend
before I
$10
bought
on
a copy of it. Oh,
That's
boy,
right.
yeah.
Well, just because I know improvisers are broke a lot, so
Yeah, that's true.
I certainly would appreciate it if you buy it, but
But it was a text that I went to multiple times when I was writing my book, Joke Farming, because I thought what you said about improv and how it works, I thought was just
very
really
sweet.
helped me get to the heart of it, some comedy principles. That was very helpful. So.
And you know, I'm a deadpan, unemotional man, and I have
Shut up.
I've done okay in podcasting, and I'm not a good improviser. So if you want someone who has those qualities but also is talented in some way, then you should listen to Will's shows.
Dan is Stuart and I are constantly like, how is it that Dan's the only one of us that has any improv training of any kind when he's so quick to shut down bits? We'll start a bit and he'll go, "Don't put me on the spot. I don't know."
It's honestly very, very funny response.
Well, I mean, there are rules in improv where you're not supposed to just like throw someone else into a thing that you invented.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't taken any improv classes.
Yeah, I wouldn't know either. Yeah.
Anyway, thank you for being here. We'll try and make it less than how many
15
decade
years.
plus years it's been.
Yeah, let's have Will back.
Hey, no,
much sooner.
I'm
For
happy
Swing
with the
Vote
every
2.
15-year schedule. I'm happy. I'm truly proud to be a part of this podcast universe to whatever degree that has happened. So I love it. 2 episodes. I'm psyched about it.
Thank you for going out and seeing this movie, making the
Yeah.
effort to leave your
It was
home for this podcast.
in the middle
My
of the
honor
night.
to be the least happy member of a 4-person audience, 10:30 at the American.
At my theater, there were some old people who were cheering every time Grogu did anything, and that kind of made me happy.
That's cool. That's
Some like wine moms were in the Nighthawk.
That's great.
Just loving it
Oh,
at 3
wow.
p.m.
It was-
Hey man,
a-
people loving a movie is great. It's
It was a
great.
noticeably stony audience when I went to see it. They did not seem to be reacting to it much at all. But maybe they were still dealing with the hangover, having to sit through the Masters of the Universe trailer. I don't know, so
Hey, maybe it'll be on a future episode, maybe not. But stick around, find out if you like this podcast. We're part of a network. Hey, we're part of a network of podcasts. It's called Maximum Fun. Go to MaximumFun.org. Check out the other great podcasts on said network. Also, thank you to Alex Smith. He goes by the name Howell Doughty on the internet. He is our producer and makes this all work. It's kind of important to have someone do those things.
the reason when you're listening to this episode, you won't hear my younger son walk in and ask me, when am I going to be done, is because Alex will do the work of removing that from the audio. So Thank you, Alex. You're doing great.
Thank you, Alex. But for the Flophouse, I have been Dan McCoy.
I'm Stuart Wellington.
I'm Ellie Kalin, and we've been joined by
Guest Will Hines.
Expert improviser. Pick that cue right up.
yeah.
It takes years of training to be able to do what I just did.
Yep. So we're talking about a movie about a little kid and his dad, adopted dad, going on an adventure. It's called Dutch.
Man, we can't stop talking about Dutch.
I can't stop talking about Dutch.
Just like America. Dutch fever.
Everyone's
Join
talking
the
about
national conversation. Watch Dutch.
It'd be so funny if they're like, to bring America together, to heal us, we're starting something called the National Conversation. We're all going to watch the same movie and then talk about it together. And
that
the movie
is
and they
Dutch.
have like a rotating barrel with movie names in it. And they pick it up. The movie is Dutch, starring Ed O'Neill.
Yeah. And that's how the Civil War finally started again.
Maximum Fun
A worker-owned network
of artist-owned shows.
supported
directly
by you.